and it bangs, then this is gonna get that conversation going. It's gonna keep these characters in the minds of people, and hopefully, I mean, I never even considered what you just said, which is the idea of we get this season, it sets Jon Stewart up as like our main Green Lantern of the universe, and then we get a movie. I didn't even consider that as an option, and that's all I want now. So thanks for that. Thanks for giving me like hope that's probably not going to happen. Um,
Hello,
oh, there we go. I
everybody.
can see it now. It's recording.
You can see it. No, absolutely. Welcome, everybody, to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 171, the show where I don't press record for the first 10 minutes of the episode, where the interview section is probably one of the most important parts of the episode. I'm joined by Declan from DM Films. Declan, once again, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I feel like I'm in a bit of a deja vu moment, but yeah, I'm doing well. Um, this is weird now.
Just- Obviously, I'm not going to make you say all that over again, but we just had a very good conversation about Declan's history on YouTube and how the Arrowverse was such a massive part of that experience, and how the industry has kind of changed over the last couple of years and how things are shifting. Instead of making you do all of that again, I'm gonna speed round you a couple of questions to let the audience get to know you a little bit. We're gonna pivot. I'm
Okay,
not gonna do all
okay.
that again. Declan, what's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question, isn't it? You can't ask a film fan what their favorite film is of all time.
I do it every time and people
Um,
piss me.
yeah, yeah. I think for me, like, oh, okay. What I'll do is I'll give you my letterbox top four. That's what I'll
Okay,
do
perfect.
because that will give you a good kind of indication of where I'm at. So these aren't in a particular order. Um, First of all would be Blade Runner 2049. Um, that was for me the film that kind of changed my perception on movies. Where I watched that at like quite an impressionable age. Like I was 16 when that came out, and this was when I was really starting to get into film. And it was the first movie I walked out of where I was like, "Damn, like that's what movies can be." Um, and it's also kind of it's the perfect combination for me of so many different of my favorites in the industry because it's
Hmm.
directed by Denis Villeneuve, who's my favorite director ever. Um, Hans Zimmer did the score. He's my favorite composer. Roger Deakins did the cinematography. He's my favorite cinematographer. So there's all these different things that came together to make like the perfect kind of cinephile movie for me, if you want. Um, so yeah, Blade Runner definitely a top choice. And then quite a recent pick would be Top Gun Maverick, which
Oh,
I feel kind
yeah,
of weird putting such a modern movie so high up, but
that was incredible.
I
Yeah.
watched that. I watched it eight times in the cinema. Um, I just, I mean, I love the original Top Gun. Like, I grew up with the original Top Gun, but the second one was just like, you know how you get the term like dad movies? Like,
Hmm.
I am such the target audience for like, I may be 24, but up here, I'm 60.
That's
So all the dad movies are so up my street. Like F1 that came out last year. Oh my God, what a film!
yeah,
Uh, also directed by the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick, funnily enough. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan as well.
Okay.
Lifelong Tom Cruise fan. I did my letterbox wrap
Cheers.
this morning. Yeah, well, I did my letterbox wrap this morning, and Tom Cruise was my most watched actor. So that tells you what you need to know. He's a complete nutter, like complete idiot, but as a movie star, I love him.
Sure.
Um, and then and then my other two, these are a lot more like of like my childhood picks, but they really do kind of represent my taste or lack thereof in film. Which is the first one I've got. I would honestly put the franchise as a whole, but if I have to sum it up in one movie, Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
I huge Transformers fan, absolutely love it. And to be honest, honest, the Michael Bay Transformers films is what made me a Transformers fan.
Yeah,
Um,
fair.
I I like, and I was the perfect age for them growing up. You know what I mean? Like I was about 8 when I started watching them, so I was like the perfect age for it. And Dark of the Moon, like I love all 5 of the Michael Bay films. I enjoy them all. But Dark of the Moon is my favorite of the series.
Okay.
Um, and and then the last one, which this always gets me so much shit, but I don't care. Um, is Cars, Disney
Oh,
Pixar Cars.
okay. All right. I
My
feel like
that
there's
was
not a. Oh, God, sorry.
Well, it's because like for me, it's my favorite Pixar film. Um,
Sure.
which that's what normally people are like. You can't say Cars is your favorite, but it is. That was the film that I like completely grew up with. Like that is like my childhood film. Um, and I love Cars 2. I love Cars 3. I love the whole series. And the reason why Cars I think was so impactful to me as well was because I believe it or not, I hated the cinema when I was a kid. Like the movie theater, I hated it. I was scared of it. Like I didn't like the darkness. I didn't like the loudness of the room.
Okay.
Um, but when I was a kid, like when Cars was coming out, I must have obviously seen the trailer for it somewhere or something. I don't know. And I begged my mom to take me, and she was like, "No, like I'm not going to take because you're going to hate it. You're going to want to leave because that's what I always did anytime I was taken to the cinema as a kid." But I didn't. I absolutely fell in love with it, and it kind of got me over my fear of the cinema, if you will. Um, so yeah, that would be my top 4.
That's such a sweet story. Yeah, no, yeah, because I think when that was such a big like because I'm 23, so like we're about the same, like relatively the
Yeah.
same age. I also it's not my personal favorite. I'm not the biggest Cars guy, but I have such like an association with it. I have a memory of getting like a Cars DVD from Santa Claus when I was probably like 6
Yeah.
old. I have a memory of like with my mom and dad before they split, going to see Cars 2 in a drive-in, which is such a funny place to see a drive-in movie. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then I got like Cars 3 for Christmas when that came out, so I have like this kind of like weird tradition with all of them. And so yeah, no, I think it's totally fair to have that movie where it's like, well, that was just on over and over again as a kid, so that's going to
Yeah.
be my
Oh
favorite.
yeah.
Like it's totally fine. That's totally valid. Yeah, no, those are good choices. Those are great choices. Um, you mentioned Blade Runner. Are we excited for the new Blade Runner like TV show we're getting this year over at Amazon?
I don't know. It's for me. I have quite this might potentially come up throughout this episode. We'll see.
Mhm.
I've got a bit of a disdain for this modern trend in Hollywood filmmaking and TV shows where everything needs a spin-off and everything needs a TV show.
Sure.
It annoys me. Um, in my opinion, like it might be great. It could be really good. And I hope it is.
Yeah.
But for me, like the idea of a Blade Runner TV show, it just doesn't do a lot for me. Um, it could be interesting though, and but I think the problem for me is like what made me because I'm not particularly attached to the original Blade Runner. It's
Okay.
2049 I love.
Sure. Yeah.
So for me, like the idea of like this is a whole new thing where like Denis Villeneuve's not involved in it.
Gotcha.
He's a big part of why I love 2049. So yeah, it could be good. Like I'll definitely check it out when it comes out, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily excited for it, if you know what I
Right.
mean.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting. We're in this new era for TV, especially right now, where all the film franchises are doing TV shows. And I think that's really started this year. Like we had Alien Earth this year, which I haven't gone back to. I thought it was okay. But we had It Welcome to Derry, which is my number one TV show of the year, which I thought was incredible. Uh,
Yeah, which, funnily
so
enough, I was talking to another friend of mine about this earlier today. I was talking about how I don't like all these spin-offs and stuff, but I've been what I haven't finished it yet, but I've been watching It Welcome to Derry. It's fucking brilliant. It's really, really good.
so
I'm
good.
shocked at how good it is.
Yeah.
Like every episode I've watched has been great, and and it's I've not even seen Pennywise on the show yet. You know, I'm that early on. I've just watched episode 3. Um, it's so good. So this is what I mean. Like all these TV shows that are being created, they absolutely have the potential to be good, and I hope they are good. It's just a lot of the time that when they're first announced, my reaction is always like, like another spin-off, like another TV prequel or whatever that we don't need. Um, but every now and again, sometimes we do get something great, like Welcome to Derry, which has so far been
Mm.
astounding.
And it only gets better. Like I think those are some of the weaker episodes. I think each one from that
Yeah.
point is better. It's insane. And yeah, I think that is kind of that syndrome. This probably will come up as we get into these like some of these Disney Plus projects here. But like so many of these filmmakers are just be like, oh, I love this IP. Let me just do that with more time and a little bit more, kind of stretching out what I'm doing in the movies. And it's just like, no, 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 you can't do that. There's this quote from Ryan Coogler recently that I thought was so interesting, and he's doing the new Twilight Zone reboot, continuation, whatever that's going to be. And like he was saying that like he learned recently that there is such a massive difference between how you tell a movie story and how you tell it and tell a TV journey. And like he had this incredible quote where it's like, a movie is a story about a moment in someone's life. A TV show is about a character's life or a character's journey, a larger journey than just a singular moment. And I'm so happy. And I think Welcome to Derry is one of the first ones where it's like, oh, they understand that you can't just do what the movies did, but on TV. Like you can't just do the
Yeah.
same thing with 8 episodes. It's like it's a completely different format. You do it completely differently. It's a completely different medium in general. This is why it's two different mediums. So it is very exciting that I feel like people are starting to learn. TV's coming back. We got like yearly TV again coming back this year with a lot of
Yeah.
streaming shows, which is so exciting. Which we'll talk about some of those today
Well,
as
that was the
well.
problem. We had like a period of time, I think, where I think this kind of came out of the pandemic where movies obviously weren't happening as much, but it was this thing where TV studios were obsessed of like they were trying to bring TV shows and movies like closer together, and we were getting
Mhm.
Disney is still doing it, but these 6 episode events and what have you, and it's not the same thing. You can't tell even a traditional TV story over 6 episodes most of the time. Um, so it's this they became obsessed with it for a while, and now they're starting to realize that that hasn't worked, and they're starting to move away from that, thankfully. And like I say, we're getting these yearly releases again, and we're getting longer form storytelling on TV, which is what it's designed to do.
Mhm.
It's much better. It's much better.
Fully agree. Fully agree. But that being said, let's just dive into our main topic today. Obviously, again, we had a great conversation about just like what it was, like your history and all that jazz. One of the things we did, we also, I guess I haven't even introduced what the episode is going to be here today. With it being the start of 2026, we are looking upon the biggest comic book movies, TV shows, video games, specials. There's one special here we're going to be talking about that's going to be very exciting. And just kind of looking, we're going to be doing some predictions. Will they be good? Won't they be good? Where do we think they're going to lie in terms of quality? So without further ado, we're just going to be jumping into our first thing here today. Our first show we're starting out in just a couple of weeks here, which is Marvel Studios' Wonder Man. Wonder Man,
Hmm.
um, a show that is kind of like in the middle of the like old regime and the new regime. It was announced during the old regime. I think pre-production was during the old regime, but Bob Iger had come back once they actually started filming. So I guess this is the last like old school Marvel project that we're going to get in terms of Bob Chapek and his era of Marvel, if you will. Now we've been getting a lot of marketing lately. We just got a brand new trailer a couple of days ago. We're getting new posters, slogans, interviews are slowly starting to come out for this one. Um, with this being the closest and us knowing the most about this one out of any other on this list, how are you feeling about Disney Plus's Wonder Man?
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Okay,
Like especially that trailer we got yesterday or a couple of days ago.
yeah.
Um, it gives me a lot of faith in it because I think thankfully the creative team behind it is clearly quite self-aware of the situation they are in,
Mm-hmm.
and they are quite happy to write about that. They're quite evidently tackling like the idea of superhero fatigue and how meta kind of the superhero genre has become.
Yeah.
Especially in the last couple of years. So they're kind of delving into those topics, and I like the fact that despite this being in the MCU and despite this being a Disney Plus Marvel series, it doesn't have a superhero kind of vibe to it. It's very much about the Hollywood industry inside of the MCU. Like it's very inside baseball. Um, I don't know how it's going to play to like larger audiences, like your general audience, but I feel like for sort of people like us, most of you, and all of you watching, I think we're going to get quite a big kick out of it because it's going to be really like MCU nerdy. I think, which I think will be quite fun. Um, Combine the fact that this has just got a brilliant, like this is a brilliant two-hander. Like Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, I've
Mm.
loved since he came on the scene. I think he's brilliant. Great casting choice for this, and Ben Kingsley coming back as Trevor Slattery, who I always enjoy when we see him every now and again. Um, I think this is going to be good. I do think this is going to be good. I hope it's good. It's such a good idea. And I think, I was talking about how it doesn't really have like a superhero vibe. I think it will definitely lean more towards that as the show goes on. Like obviously the trailer teases his powers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It'll definitely get more that way. But I'm kind of hoping, honestly, deep down, this is at its core kind of a studio, like Hollywood studio drama and like acting drama, because that that would be really good in my opinion. I think that would be a really fresh take for the MCU, which it kind of needs a lot more fresh takes at the moment.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wasn't really sure my thoughts on the show, I think, until this week, until they got that first trailer, because I wasn't in love with that first teaser. It wasn't a bad teaser, it just didn't tell us a lot. And I think with a show like this, they kind of needed to like win people over the first time around. I didn't think it was super smart to be like, yeah, we didn't tell you what the show was about yet, but like just you wait and see kind of. So I think I agree. I think this is probably one of the more creatively driven projects that they have ever made, up until this point. I think Marvel and just superhero projects in general now need to respin the wheel almost every time to, I think, keep the casual audiences in store. Either that or it's just like nostalgia bait and cameos kind of thing. Like it's
Yeah.
either one or the other at this point. And so yeah, no, this feels fresh. This feels new. Casual audiences, I don't think is going to hate it. Like what we heard. I don't like listening to like the scooper people that much. I think they're bullshit most of the time. But like one of the things they said like almost like months ago was like critics will love the show, comic book fans won't love the show. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing because it's probably a bit of both. Um,
Yeah.
it's yeah, but like again, like this cast is insane. The trailer they put out this week, at the time of recording this, at least, is insane. Looks just probably one of the better made like Disney Plus trailers that they've done. Like it felt like you were watching some like A24 style um trailer, like something for like a big, artsy fartsy movie that you would see come out. So I was like, yeah, this looks fun. Trevor is such a fascinating character, how he's evolved in the
What
MCU.
what a journey he's had.
From Iron Man 3, everyone being like, well, fuck this guy. And then Shang-Chi came out, and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, I guess we like this guy now, huh? He's kind of cool. And now he's basically got his own Disney Plus show, which is such a crazy journey. But I'm kind of here for it. I'm curious to kind of see what they do with this character. Is he more of a one-off? Or is it, I know people are saying like West Coast Avengers setup potentially if this does
Yeah.
well enough. Like, it'll be interesting.
But I think as well, like people are talking about the fact that this surprisingly looks good. The creative team behind this, like I keep forgetting, and it's only when I think about it in depth for a few minutes, like the Destin Daniel Cretton is behind this
Yep,
show,
yep.
which, like, I mean, that's a really fucking good sign. And I think it makes sense why Trevor Slattery is in the show now because he was in Shang-Chi, which was directed by him, and I'm sure we'll talk about him a bit later, but he's he's a fantastic director, and I don't think he's like super involved in this. Like I think he's very much a producer. He's kind of
Producing it, yeah.
um yeah, he's kind of like a sort of background voice on it. But if he's at least a guiding hand, I think that will give us a good way to go with it. Um, and I'm honestly like I'm picturing this as kind of Marvel's version of like Apple's The Studio, which came out last year.
Yeah.
Um, which obviously it's not going to go as far as something like that. But if that's the kind of the kind of mold they're following, I think that's a good recipe. I think that will be something good.
I agree with that. I will also say though, like
Sorry,
this is
my
something I
cat
think
opened my door.
I saw that as it like slowly opened. Um, as someone, I guess the one thing that just concerned me a little bit, I really liked She-Hulk, but one of my issues with that final episode of She-Hulk was them literally being like, oh, and like the CGI isn't going to look too good in like Wakanda Forever because it was being super rushed. And I kind of didn't love them like telling us the issues that they were going to have instead of like fixing the issues that they were going like that's something I'm a little afraid of. Like I'm okay with Apple TV making fun of Hollywood because it's like well they've always been super anti-art and super, for the creator, whereas like I don't want Disney Plus making fun of themselves as just being like that's funny and then like moving on. It's like no, you like the issue now, we know that
Yeah,
is an issue, let's address it, but it's like no, it's a joke, so we're moving on. So that's my only kind of concern with it. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I'm also not thrilled about it being this 8-episode binge drop event.
yeah,
Um,
I'm not happy about that either.
I, I have a massive issue with how Disney Plus is handling most of their shows, but let's be honest, they're people of color. Like they've really mistreated Eyes of Wakanda and Ironheart and now Wonder Man. It's like I'm not saying it's a thing, but it's certainly not a good look. It's a really
No,
not a good look. And then it's like, oh, but let's get all the marketing out for Daredevil and have that be the weekly show. It's like I get that this is seemingly more of a comedy, but like I don't know. I at least would have liked what they did with Spider-Man last year, where it was like, okay, it was like a 4-week event. It's at least something better than it's all out in January of all months as well. It's like it's just not a good look.
yeah, it feels like they're dumping it, and
Yeah,
like you say, it's exactly the same thing they did with Ironheart as well, where that came out and they literally marketed that like the day or two before it dropped.
yeah,
And they were like, "Oh, look, we put Robert Downey Jr. in the marketing," and it's like, "Fucking hell." Um, I think they are doing the same thing with this, but hopefully, if it's good and like good word of mouth spreads, then hopefully more people will tune in and watch it. I do just wish they were, you know, because you could easily they could have done this in a way where, and they need to follow more what like HBO does, where HBO will launch a show that will come out weekly and it will basically run until the next big HBO show drops near enough.
yeah,
So they could have done that with Wonder Man. They could have like delayed it a couple of weeks and then release it in 8 weeks, and then basically in the lead up to Daredevil coming out in March, which I think we found out today it's coming out in March.
yeah.
Like they could have easily have done that, but they've kind of just again they're going to just drop it and I guess maybe bury it. But they seem to be marketing this a bit more than they did Ironheart, I guess.
Agreed.
Um, but not much more. It's not like that's not really, saying they marketed it a bit more than Ironheart isn't really saying a whole lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, I I agree. I think they need to change how they. And to be fair, I do think this is going to be the last year of like these major Disney Plus shows coming out. I think starting in 2027, we might have what maybe 1 or 2 live action shows a year, and then the rest are going to be animated shows. It feels like this is the last year of like, okay, we're getting all our stuff out, all the things that we made
yeah,
during the writer strike and the COVIDs and that tumbleweed of content that they haven't been able to. We're finally getting it all out, and then after Secret Wars, it's like okay, starting fresh, starting new. And again, we'll talk about some of those as we go through here. Um,
yeah. I
okay,
do
move.
find the West Coast Avengers thing funny though, because like that's such a comic book thing where people are like, "Oh, we got to do the West Coast Avengers." Like, if you think the MCU is going anywhere near the West Coast Avengers, especially in the state they're in now,
Mhm.
that's not happening. That's not happening. I heavily doubt, to be honest with you, we will see this character ever again, unless this show is such a unanimous success and it's absolutely huge. I
Yeah.
very much doubt we're going to see Wonder Man ever again, to be honest with you.
I know, I hate that I'm in this place, but yeah, no, like now going into every Marvel TV show, I'm under the assumption that this is a limited series, which pains me. I hate that. I adored Ironheart that came out last year. I thought that was an incredible show, and it ends in such a way that pains me. And like I said then,
Mm.
this is a great show if it gets a second season. But if it does
Yeah.
not, then it's kind of terrible. It's kind of horrendous how that show ends if it's done, if it's a one and done, which
Yeah.
really is unfortunate. So I hope maybe they wrote the show in mind of just like, hey, it's a one little thing. It's like a little show that just comes out very Werewolf by Night, very just kind of one off. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, moving away from the Marvel sphere, a little bit more on the independent side here. We have The Boys season 5, aka the final season. I also I don't have it on this list here, but we can also talk about Vault up Vault Rising, the
Vault Rising. Yeah.
yeah, which I think is supposed to come out this year, but there's no beneficial date either way. So put that on an asterisk, if you will. We can talk about that here too, as well, if you want.
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure. Are you a The Boys fan? That's not. I don't know if that's anything I've ever seen you talk about. Is that a franchise that you like as well?
Yeah, I absolutely love The Boys. I mean, if this kind of gives you an indication, actually, not to weirdly flex,
Yeah.
I've got a signed photo of Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander on The Boys. And the whole reason I started watching The Boys was because I was a huge fan of a TV show called Banshee, which Anthony Starr
Hmm.
was the lead of. So that's what this is from. Um, so yeah, I love The Boys. I absolutely love The Boys. Um, probably one of my favorite shows on TV at the minute.
Okay.
Going into now the final season, I'm fucking scared. I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. Not because I think it's going to be bad. I'm I don't know what this final season is going to be. Like I
Mm.
really don't know. Like obviously there's kind of indications of what it's going to be. Like we know the idea of like the White House, Homelander potentially getting his way into there. Um, but I just think this final season is going to be. I think it's going to be insane.
Yeah.
With potentially even like with like character deaths because we know what The Boys is like. It doesn't hold back on stuff like that. Um, I'm really, but yeah, I'm incredibly excited to be honest with
Hmm.
you.
Yeah. I have an interesting relationship with The Boys because yeah, I like it. I do. I like it a lot. I think I sometimes forget I like it, but I was like, no, like stop. Like this is a show that I enjoy watching. I had my issues with season 4. I wasn't
Yeah,
the biggest fan of the last season. I do think the show has kind of like got to a point where it has become what is making fun of a little bit in terms of the
yeah,
marketing and the budget and the cinematic universe of it all. But also it's been very consistent. Like I can make fun of them, but I love Gen V. I actually
yeah.
kind of prefer Gen V over the boys personally. Like that's just my vibe a little bit more. But
Hmm.
I think it's time. I do think it's time to say farewell. Ultimately, I think it's time to bid adieu to at least this chapter. That's another aspect that makes me a little nervous about this final season, though, because they are, while once wrapping up the show, they're also setting up like 3 other, like we have Gen V, Vought Rising, and The Boys Mexico, kind of all still ongoing, as we know. So it's like you have to end it without actually ending it, but also can you
Yeah,
make that satisfying enough to the fans who only are going to watch? Like I don't want it to be like, oh, you'll see this character's ending if you watch Vault, The Boys Mexico. It's like, no. You have to make this the final stand for at least half of the fandom. For at least
yeah,
majority of people who do not want to watch everything involved.
yeah. And to be honest, I think that will happen because in terms of like the other spin-offs and stuff, I'm kind of under the impression Gen V's not coming back. That's I
Really?
could be
Okay.
wrong, but from what I understood, season two didn't do well. Um, and obviously we've heard nothing about season three at this point.
Mhm.
Um, and I think from what Gen V season two was doing, I think they are clearly setting like Marie Moreau on a collision course with Homelander at this point. And I think the Boys season five is going to wrap up Gen V as well. That's kind of my understanding of it. And then when you look at the other spin-offs, like Vought Rising takes place in the 50s, so there's not
It's a
really any crossover there. And then the Mexico one, we really know nothing about, but I imagine that's going to be completely
whole
standalone, near enough.
yeah.
So I do think, in terms of like wrapping up the story, I think this will do it. And I think 5 seasons, that's a good run. I think that's about right.
Yeah.
Especially when, like you say, season four, I do agree. Like season four was definitely the weakest season for sure. It felt to me like they were starting to spin its wheels a little bit too much, and um, I think the kind of it's got. I always feel like the boys is getting to a point now where it's real life kind of political commentary is because the world. I mean, this is more relative to you than it is to me, but you know, it's so crazy. Like
Mm,
the boys almost isn't. It doesn't come across as wild and zany as it used to because the stuff that it used to kind of
yeah.
bring up is sort of happening in real life. So it's
Mm,
like it almost is feeling a bit too on the nose at this point.
I
Um,
yeah.
but that's
Like
kind of through no fault of the show, really. But yeah,
it it's sad. Yeah, it's kind of sad how accurate the writers are of the show. Like
yeah,
the way the show ended its last season paralleled very, very, very similarly to the real world. And so now I almost like I hate it's not the show's fault, but I almost associate the show with the real world equivalent. And like I hate that real world equivalent, so I'm like, oh, I hate the show. It's like, no, 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 that's not on them. I should not be blaming them for that, for having unfortunately good writing and smart writers in
yeah,
the writing room. But yeah, no, it's I am excited. Like I do hope this poster is a good indication of what we're getting though, because I do need Homelander to just go off. Like I think that's what they've
just
been
snap. Yeah,
doing. I need like scorched earth Homelander. I need the show to fully commit to the deaths. I know we just got the season of Stranger Things, which was very safe, which I think fit this show and what they were doing. The Boys, on the other hand, that's not the kind of show it is. So I need
no,
them to be like, okay, yeah, Huey just got ran over by a car. All right, so I need them to fully like submit and be like, oh, this is the kind of show this is. We will just kill off the most popular character because it's the final season and we can, kind of thing. So
yeah. And I
hope
think
it's
as well, like the boys has never like it's always been obviously very open with killing characters in very gruesome ways, but it's never gone so far as to actually kill one of the main characters. We haven't really like outside of some of the soups, we haven't seen like any member of the actual of the boys get killed off at this point. I think we need to see a couple of them go. And
yeah,
in terms of like wrapping up the story as well, I think there's no way Homelander makes it out of this alive. Like, there's not a chance. And also, like in my opinion, the way I view the boys, like you don't have the boys without Homelander. So
hmm
if the if he was to die in season 4 and we were still getting the show, I feel like it just feels like it's getting dragged out at that point. I feel
yeah,
like once Homelander dies, that's the point at which the show ends anyway. Because what's the threat at that point? You know what I
yeah.
mean? And he's the face of the show. He's on all the posters. He's the first character you always see. He's the character you think of when you think of the boys. Um, so I think that they need to wrap it all up with Homelander's eventual death.
Yeah, I think, and I think Eric Ripley said it when it was announced as the final season. It's like this show has always been about Homelander and Butcher. It will end
Mm.
with Homelander and Butcher, and I do think I'm not 100% convinced we're going to kill Homelander, but I think their stories end here. The story ends
Yeah,
for both Butcher and Homelander here. Absolutely. There's no like, oh, Butcher showed up and the boys Max. It's like no. Those two other
no,
characters can if they want to, but those two need to end here. In my
yeah,
ideal world, it's like them, like Butcher sacrificing himself to kill Homelander in a big,
yeah.
massive battle or something like that. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they both die. I think that's kind of
yeah,
that's how I'm envisioning it ending is them both dying. And then like you say, you can keep Huey alive, you can keep alive, you can keep Frenchie and Kamiko alive, and those characters can potentially show up in other things.
hmm
Um, but I think as far as like your two main characters, as you said there, it's Butcher and Homelander. It started with them, it'll end with them. I think that's kind of the perfect symmetry way for it to end.
agreed, agreed. In the same kind of, I guess, the same network, if you will, we have Invincible season 4, the final season of, no, not the final season. Don't mind me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Invincible season 4, the next season of Invincible. Now, are you an Invincible fan? Is this a show that you are a fan of?
I've actually never seen Invincible, so
Okay.
this one's on you.
Yes. No, I mean, I don't have a crazy amount to say either, but I love Invincible. I think Invincible is. a really, really fun show, a very consistent show, and I hope that they can kind of continue that caliber into these next couple seasons. Season 1 is solid. Season 2 is great, although it has a bunch of breaks that kind of ruined it. And then season 3, I think, was a return to form for them. And so, like, they say they have plans for up until like season 7, which is very exciting for a modern streaming show. We don't really see that anymore. That's very CW style, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look again, we don't really have any marketing. I don't know what the season's going to be yet. There are seeds of what they kind of set up in the previous one. But I think out of everything we have here, it's the one, it's I guess like the most like normal season on this, or like project on, like everything else on here feels like an event, like a big thing. And Invincible is kind of like, oh yeah, more Invincible is here. Awesome, cool. Let's see what they do. But nothing like that, like, oh my gosh, I need to talk about this thing right now. I just like, yeah, give me the trailer. Which both this and The Boys will be airing at the same time. So the like 2 Amazon shows are going to be going on,
Yeah.
which is a little. Not to mention a bunch of other shows like One Piece and stuff like that will also be going on. So it's like it's such a, you know, Euphoria is airing at that time. It's like that, like the like March April era is going to be Daredevil is also airing around this time.
Yeah.
So it's we're busy. Speaking of Daredevil, that's next on our list. Daredevil Born Again
Yeah.
season 2. Like we said previously, and I guess that goes for this one as well, but yearly TV is back. We had a season of Invincible last year. It's back this year. We have a season of Daredevil last year. It's coming out the same exact month as
Yep.
it did previously. When was the last time that happened for a major streaming show?
Yeah,
Couldn't tell.
especially for Disney and Marvel. Like I think it's insane that they've turned the second season around in a year. I think that's insane.
And I'm so proud of them. I should
Yeah,
be
like,
so proud of
good
them.
job, guys. Well done. You did your
I mean,
job.
didn't do that. Like, I mean, like back when it was like when TV was somewhat still regular, like they took like a year and a half, sometimes a couple years, because well, it was a cinematic universe, and I had to wait for like Jessica Jones and Punisher and Luke, you know, all the other shows
Yeah.
they were working. A divisive show, I feel like, in that first season. Were you happy with the first season of Born Again?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I think it's the, like, if you're classing it as Daredevil season 4, I think it's the weakest of the 4. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I think for me, like, I very much went into it with the perception of this isn't Daredevil season 4.
Yeah.
Like, I went into it with the mindset of, yes, this is a continuation. Yes, they are trying to carry it over as much as they can, but this isn't going to be exactly the same as what it was going to be. This isn't what Netflix would have done with Daredevil season 4 had it not got cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of went into it with the mindset of, this is a fresh start, and this is a new thing, and then sort of anything else we get as connective tissue is kind of a bonus, I feel like. So I enjoyed it. I think it was flawed. Like, I think, they really pushed heavily on having the whole show very heavily revolve around Matt Murdock and Kingpin, which I think was a smart thing to do. Obviously, getting Charlie and Vincent back was, a godsend. But I just think story-wise, obviously, we all know what happened behind the scenes with Born Again season 1 and how it started as this. They basically turned it into just a straight legal drama with no real Daredevil action in it or anything like that. And I think given what the show was and the state it was in, what they managed to turn it around into, I think is quite impressive. Especially when, it's amazing because you can see it so clearly, like that the difference in quality between the first episode and the last 2 compared to like everything else is quite dramatic. But I think it was overall quite well done. And I think for me, like, I'm really looking forward to season 2, purely on the aspect of we've got this new creative team who are on the show from day
The
one.
OG creative team,
The OG creative team, and they are going to hopefully deliver something that is consistently brilliant the whole way through, rather than just like little speckles of brilliance throughout, which is what we got with season 1. Again, I still enjoyed season 1. I thought it was good. I liked it. Like, I definitely came away from it positive, but it was flawed. It was definitely flawed.
Yeah. Like I had quite a few issues with season 1, but it's like one of like the rare times in media where I'm like, I'll give it a pass. It's fine because of the circumstances around it.
Yeah,
Like I understand why. Like I think the fact that we got the version of it, the show we got, is a godsend. Like I think the fact that this wasn't like the worst thing Marvel has ever put
yeah,
out is a miracle because it could have been. They literally put out two separate TV shows and merged it into one. 9 times out of 10 when we get that, it is horrendous. It is
yeah,
bad. And I think, and I talked quite a bit about the show when it was airing. I liked individually, I came out of each episode positively. Like I liked every individual episode. It's when you stitch it together is when the issues start. Where it's like, okay,
yeah,
1 and 2 feel like this. Oh, 2 and 3 feel like this. Oh, it's like there are like a bunch of even just like mini shows within this that work individually, but as a connective series, it does not work for me. But again, it's not. They tried their best.
yeah,
They again, in an ideal world, they would have scrapped the whole thing and started fresh. But I understand it. That is expensive. Money does not grow on trees. If they would have pitched this, who knows if it would have even come out at all. Like there's a lot of that stuff. So I am just grateful. And now we're in a spot where it kind of feels like, oh, now this is season 4 of Daredevil. Like this kind of feels like
yeah,
where we
yeah.
were to begin with. Like we have all this cast coming back, the stunt director's back, the original creative team is back, Jessica Jones is back, the like police officer from the original shows, I forget his name, but he's back.
Mahoney, yeah,
Foggy and Karen are. I think I know Karen has a much bigger role this season, but Foggy is also back in some capacity. It's just like, oh, this is kind of what we were expecting during the first season. So it's like I'm going in with it like a completely fresh coat of paint, get rid of all the expectations I had at the end of the last season. And also where they leave us at the end is so exciting. This like martial law, New York
yeah,
City is so like, oh, this is fascinating. This is
yeah.
really, really interesting. Where is this going to go? Obviously, Jessica Jones is back as well, which is I kind of keep forgetting that's a thing, and every time I remember, it's like, oh my god, yeah, she is back. That's also very exciting. And also, where is it leading? Because this kind of feels like maybe part one, potentially part two, depending how they release these, of like a trilogy that's happening this year, which is
Hmm.
a good transition. We don't have any marketing. I just use the original show's logo and photo here. The Punisher special presentation that's either going to be before Daredevil Born Again or after. We still have no official officiality to when this is coming out and how it's coming out. But Punisher is getting a special presentation, which is the first special presentation since We Were Up by Night back in what 2022.
Two?
22? It's been a minute. It's been a maybe 3, maybe I don't remember. I think it was
When did
2022.
when did the Guardians one come out? That was like
20,
there
I
was the
think they came
holiday
out the same
special.
year. Wasn't
Yeah, I think yeah, because it came out before Volume 3, didn't it? Which was 2023. So and it came out so it was
it had to have been
2022.
2022. Yeah, it was 2022 for both then. Yeah, which I've been pleading Marvel to do more. I'm like, Marvel,
Yeah,
do like you are on a track. Like both have been bangers. Both have been
yeah, yeah,
fantastic. Do more of these. And it looks like they're trying out with this one, and hopefully if it does well enough, I have a theory of what they might be doing with more of these, which I can maybe talk about here in a second. But are you excited for some more Punisher? Again, I still can't believe we're getting a Punisher special in the MCU. It's
yeah.
blowing my
On
mind.
Disney Plus, it's
Yeah,
crazy,
like it's so crazy that we're
absolutely
here.
insane. I mean, I'm very excited. Yeah, I mean, Punisher, I thought was back when it was on Netflix. I thought Punisher was an interesting series because it was like it was a lot like more, I guess, slower and meditative than what I expected it to be. Um, and then bringing him now into the MCU, like it's just crazy we're getting this character at all. Him showing back up at the end of Daredevil was like, a complete, hype moment like for all of us. I
Yeah,
think John Bernthal is perfect casting in this role. I'm so glad that they've, brought him back in the role. I don't think there's anybody right now better to play the role than him. And I think that doing a special presentation for this character is absolutely perfect because realistically, his own TV show, like they could do that, but I feel like if they were to do another Punisher series, it would kind of just feel like a retread in a way.
hmm,
I don't think they need to do that. And a film, we've had lots of Punisher movies before. I think
yeah,
this is something new. It's something interesting. And I think that this format of like a shorter, it's not a TV show, it's not a movie, it's kind of its own thing.
yeah.
I think suits it really well. And as you said, as kind of like a part of this kind of New York story they're potentially telling here, this could be quite a good little chapter. And yeah, it's hard to talk about it because we don't really know anything about it and like
You don't
what
know.
it is, but it's more Punisher, and I'm here for it. I guess my question is, do we know, is he in Born Again season two? Do we know that?
They've said he's not. They've said he's not,
They said he's
but he was
not.
also on
Right. Okay.
set. But that's the thing. He was on set with like some of the actors. So maybe he
Mm.
was just like hanging out. Like maybe he was in the area filming his special, and he's like, "Hey, let me stop by and see my friends." I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it makes sense if he's not in it though, because he had to do a brand new day, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, and also the Odyssey, and also his own special. This is this is his year. Like this is John's
Yeah.
year as an actor. He is on an unbelievably crazy run. Um, but yeah, I'm going to assume he's not it, which again makes it interesting the order of like, does it come out before Daredevil or after Daredevil? I guess it would make sense if it was after, because maybe he's just on the run, right? They're going to be after him this entire season, so maybe it's
Yeah.
him like undercover, hiding away until something happens where he has to kind of come out of hiding, which again makes his role in Spider-Man also so much more interesting. It's like, okay, what the heck is he doing there? Like that's going to be
Yeah.
fascinating too.
I think like I'm gonna guess this is coming out after Daredevil, but for Spider-Man would be my guess.
Yeah.
I imagine they're slotting this potentially kind of early summer, like this could be like May, June
Hmm.
time. Because I think if it was coming out before Daredevil, I think we would know by now. I think
Yeah.
we would have it, unless they're going to like completely shadow drop it. But I don't think like for Punisher, I don't think they would do that. Um,
No.
it's just too big of a name, and there's so much excitement from the fans that
Hmm.
they wouldn't do. They need to build up to it. Um, so I think they'll probably put him in there, and because what they can then do in Daredevil as well is kind of tease it a little bit. They can, even if he's not in it directly, they can kind of reference him, perhaps what
Set
might be
it up.
going on with him, set it up, and they could even do kind of like what they did in season one, where there was like a little post-credit scene at the end, kind of
Mm,
teasing what's going on with Frank. So I think that makes sense. And then whatever happens in this special can then lead into his role in
yeah.
Brand New Day, which still baffles me. But yeah, I think this could be. I think this could be really special, and I really hope, like for John Bernthal, I really hope that it's good, and I hope that people gravitate towards it because he, like I said, this is his year. He deserves this. Um, Great
And it
actor, great guy, and great portrayal of the character.
and I think what excites me even more is this was his project. Like he pitched this to Kevin Feige. He's like, "Hey, Kevin
Yeah,
Feige, I want to talk to you about something." Like this is his baby. This is his thing, which always makes me excited for something. Like this feels like an artistic journey, not just some like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna like use the Punisher IP, you know, blah blah blah." I was like, "No. This is from a creative spot. Like this is a story that I really want to tell. Can I please tell this story?" And they're like, yeah, go for it. Go ahead. And
go for it. Yeah,
I'm wondering if this is kind of the start of maybe a series of presentations. Like that's been my pitch for a while. It's like, okay, you have Punisher, return via Daredevil in season one, then they get their own special. Who's joining in season two? Jessica Jones. Okay, well then maybe this time next year we get like a Jessica Jones special. It's like, okay, and then season three rolls around. Hey, look, it's Luke Cage. Oh, look, here's a Luke Cage special. And we slowly do it until we get the big, like, oh, it's Defenders. It's
yeah, yeah.
Defenders Rise Again or something. It's like a new show with all these characters coming together. And I think that'd be a
That's
smart move. Like,
honestly, that's my dream. I would love that. I would love that. I was like, I was so into the Netflix stuff when it was coming out. Like, I was so
yeah.
into it. I loved it. I'm even an Iron Fist defender. I like Iron Fist. I I really enjoyed all of it. So like the fact that we've got like obviously this is going back to Daredevil a little bit, but we've got Jessica Jones in there. I We've heard nothing about Luke Cage or Iron Fist being in that show, but there is a part of me that there's that fanboy
I
inside of me that's clinging on, hoping that they're going to
I
be in at least Luke Cage, because I feel like Mike Colt has been teasing it.
Mike
Um,
has been using it, yeah.
Mike has been teasing it. Finn Jones has been quiet, but I think Mike Coulter has been teasing it. And then, like you say, that would be really awesome. Like, especially because, as I said about the Punisher special, like if they were to do a TV show, I feel like they'd be retreading it. Same thing with Jessica Jones. Like that got 3 seasons.
Hmm.
As a character, she doesn't have that much of a comic history to where you can keep making these seasons compared to
Yeah.
someone like Daredevil. So if they bring her in season two and you know, everyone, I mean, everyone's going to love her, of course, everyone already does. But,
Yeah.
you know, as you say, this time next year, we could be looking at doing a Jessica Jones special, which would be perfect for her character at this point in
Yes.
time.
I
Then you could
agree.
do the same with Luke Cage for a season three.
Yeah.
I would just love that. I would absolutely love that. And then if we do get like a Defenders reunion, I can die a happy man.
Yeah, or like even like I've pitched forever, like rebrand Defenders into like Heroes for Hire and like market it
Yeah.
as this like new fresh thing for the new like it'd be so incredible. It'd be so amazing. Okay, shifting away from Marvel for just a second, and we'll be back. Trust me, we'll be back. There's much more Marvel to talk about. We have Supergirl diving into the DC pool. We've yet to dive into DC. There's a couple of DC things to talk about today. Previously known as Woman of Tomorrow, which was based on the Woman of Tomorrow comic run. Yeah, the second ever DCU project, or DCU film, I should say.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever heard your thoughts on Superman, but like, how are we feeling going into Supergirl?
I'm feeling I'm feeling really good about it.
Yeah,
Which I'm realizing I'm being very positive. I'm looking forward to like most of the stuff coming out
same,
this year.
same, yeah,
Um, but for me, like my thoughts on Superman, I loved it. Absolutely, I loved it way more than I thought I would. Um, I just thought it was such a like for me, it's my favorite Superman movie ever. Loved it. And I love what James Gunn did with the character. I love what he did with the universe and how he set it all up. Um, and I think for me, like a big test for it was like my partner. She's she's a bit of a nerd. She's not quite on my level, but not many people in my personal life are. Um, but you know, when I was watching Superman and she watched it with me, and I thought, I don't know if she's liking this because you know it's very like it throws you into the universe and
it
it's
does,
like
yeah.
this is all happening. These are these characters and stuff like that. But we came out of it. She was like, I want to watch it again. I loved it, and I was
Aw,
like, brilliant. So I feel like James Gunn has done a good job of not only getting the fans on board, but getting the general audiences on board. That
mhm,
was kind of my point there. Um, so now going into Supergirl, I'm kind of looking forward to this, just kind of riding on the coattails of Superman.
mhm,
And the trailer I thought was really good. I do agree, like with a lot of people, that this does feel a lot more James Gunn than anything we've had from James Gunn in the DCU at this point. You know, it's very like Guardians-esque in the trailer and whatnot. But I don't know. I think that I'm feeling positive. I'm feeling good. I think Millie Alcock looks to be
mhm,
great casting for this role. Obviously, we got a little teaser of her in Superman, and I really enjoyed that. Um, I think her attitude compared to like David Corn Sweat as Superman, I think is a great contrast, especially because this is I think a lot of people have this kind of perception of Supergirl, and this I think comes from a couple of different mediums. Like it certainly comes from the TV show, you know,
yeah,
that she basically just is Superman but female, which
yeah,
there are some adaptations that are like that, but for the most part, she is quite different. And I think that this movie is going to present her as that, which I think is a really smart move. Um, I think the action in this looks really good because again, it looks a bit more brutal than Superman. It looks a bit more, you know, a
edgy,
bit more
yeah,
heavy-handed,
yeah.
which again suits her a lot more. I think this is going to be good. I do think this is going to be good. There seems to be a lot of good teasers, and it's. I mean, I've never read Woman of Tomorrow myself, but I've heard
Yeah.
it's. I think most people say it tends to be like it's the best Supergirl story that there is.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think this is going to be good, and I really hope it does well. I really hope it does well. Like because Superman did quite well. I think it did about 650 million, something like that.
Yep.
Um, so I'm hoping that people will see the trailer for this because they have been pushing this trailer in quite a lot of films I've been seeing recently. So I'm hoping that people are seeing it and going, "Oh, I like Superman. I'll check out Supergirl." Um, that's my hope. I want it. I want it to be good, and I want it to do well.
No, I agree. I'm excited. I've been kind of hit and miss on the DCU so far. I mean, I liked Superman, maybe not as much as others, but I liked it. I had some issues, but I haven't been through. I wasn't thrilled with the season of Peacemaker. I was hit and miss with Creature Commando. So I've been kind of like, okay, we'll see where we're headed. But yeah, no, I love the trailer. I don't quite get the Guardians thing that a lot of people are on personally. I get some of it for sure because it's like, yeah, it's a cosmic it's a cosmic comic book movie. I get it to a bit, but I think everyone's like, oh, it just looks like more James Gunn. It's like, yeah, but James Gunn didn't make the movie. He was a
Yeah.
producer on it, but he didn't direct it. He didn't write it. It's like, oh, James Gunn's at it again. It's like, no, he's
Yeah.
not. He's actually he's physically not.
Yeah.
This is a different person altogether. But no, I'm thrilled about this. I'm very excited. I think it's maybe my second most anticipated like comic book movie of next year. I think one might take the cake for me personally, but yeah, like I loved the energy. I loved how fresh it looked. I think DC, they need to try something different, and I think what we're going to see different from this one, especially comparatively to Superman, is its tone and its style. And it seems like it's going to be a much more emotionally driven movie, which very much excites me because I like Superman a lot, but sometimes I thought it was maybe a little too goofy sometimes. Like sometimes I
Yeah.
wish there was a little bit more levity in some scenes, or they let scenes sit a little bit longer before they did the joke. But besides that, I'm thrilled. Crypto's back. Jason as Lobo is so exciting that we're finally getting that aspect of it as well. And yeah, I don't know. I'm in. I'm ready for it. Should be
I
fun.
also I like the fact that because I kind of have well, I'll talk about this a bit more when we talk about another DC film that's coming out, but I think Warner Brothers and DC are doing an interesting choice of like releasing these films in regards to like what we're getting and when.
Yep.
But I do like the idea of the fact we're getting a Supergirl movie like straight after a Superman film. I think that's really
Yep.
smart, actually. I think that's really clever. Again, purely in the fact that this can really ride on the coattails of Superman, so long as there's not
Mhm.
any, which I mean, I'm sure there will be this, but so long as there's not too much sexism involved
Yeah.
from audiences. Um, I just hope people will be like, I liked that movie. I'll watch this one. Um, and I think that this is going to be something a bit different. It's going to be a bit fresh. And if Warner Brothers markets this correctly and they play this right, they could have a huge hit here. Because, like, the comic book genre, it's no secret that it's incredibly male dominated in terms of its audience. It's very rare we get, a big female-led superhero movie. And we've had a couple, and they've done decently well. But I think that, again, if they play this right, Superman is like the quintessential superhero. You could do the exact same as Supergirl,
Yeah.
and I really hope that they do because again, I think it deserves it. I think this character deserves it. I think Millie looks
Mm-hmm.
like she's such a good casting for this, um, and hopefully she kind of gets the same push from this that David Corenswet got with Superman. I
Yeah.
think this could be really really exciting, and if we don't know kind of what the grand plan for the DCU is at this point. We kind of got little tidbits and little ideas, but we don't know what's fully happening. But I hope that as it goes on, Supergirl is a character that can just recur and keep coming back. And I think they showed great confidence with that by sticking her in Superman for that small little
Mhm.
cameo. Clearly they're clearly thinking ahead about this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited. I think it looks good.
I think it's very smart. I think how they're doing this is so refreshing to have Superman come out in 2024, 2025, then have Supergirl in 2026, and then have Man of Tomorrow in 2027. Like we're
Yeah,
following these characters in such a consistent way that feels like
yeah,
such a breath of fresh air. Which actually I think this year is actually doing pretty well about that because we had Captain America, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four last year, and all three of those characters are coming back this year, along with like Daredevil and Punisher. So like they're
yeah,
doing a better job about that. We're finally getting
yeah,
back to that, and it's just so refreshing to be like, oh, I saw them last year. I get to see them again this year, and you get to build that connectivity with the audience that I think we have not felt since COVID, really. Like, which again, not all
yeah.
their faults.
And I'm
But yeah,
sure Supergirl will probably show up in Man of Tomorrow as well. I'm sure.
yes,
I'd be
yes,
very shocked if she doesn't.
yeah. Oh yeah, no, like that feels like, not to get sidetracked for next year's, but like that feels like they're kind of like Justice League of sorts. Like it's not going to be called Justice League, but it seems like it's going to be like, oh, the Superman, the Supergirl, the Lanterns, the Peacemakers, and the all the characters we've been kind of building. I know there's like rumors of like a Wonder Woman or a Batman. Take that as you will. The scoopers like the scoop, but
Yeah,
like I don't know, like that feels like, I don't know, it feels nice that we can kind of just, oh, we don't have to wait 10 years for a big event, we can do like 3 years instead. That feels like less scary than the like Kang of it all, where it's like, oh, 10 years of build up. Okay. um but all right, I guess like the other major superhero blockbuster of the year, in terms of Spider-Man Brand New Day, The next Spider-Man movie, man, it's been a couple years since a new Spider-Man movie kind of hit the scenes. A lot riding, I guess not riding on this movie, but I feel like there's a lot that is kind of going into this one. How are we feeling about Brand New Day?
Yeah, I feel like I'm being boring here, but yeah, I'm looking forward
I,
to
I
it, man.
I'm with you.
It looks
Yeah.
good. It looks good. Like obviously we've not seen a trailer for this yet. We've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and we kind of know.
Mhm.
I guess like I'm more curious, I guess, going into this and more than anything, just because we've heard so many different things that are. I think they started out as like leaks and rumors and scoops, but have
Yeah.
later on confirmed to be true. There's so much going on in this movie where not only is this the first Spider-Man movie since No Way Home, which obviously that's going to be tackling a lot given the
Yeah.
ending of No Way Home. Like that in itself is your movie. Like that's one thing. But you've got Mark Ruffalo is going to be in the movie as the Hulk. That's a big character to chuck into that
Big
movie.
hit. Yeah.
You've got, as mentioned before, Punisher, which I think is absolutely insane. The
Insane.
fact that we're getting the R-rated version of the Punisher in a 12, in a PG-13 Spider-Man movie,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely mental. Um, and they're bringing back characters like the Scorpion is coming back, which I'm personally very excited about. He was who I wanted as the villain of the movie, so I'm very happy he's coming back. There's also rumors that Yelena Belova is in it. I don't think that
Yep.
was ever officially confirmed, but that was a rumor.
Rumor. Yeah.
Um, there's just it just seems like a massive movie, and I just want to know what the story is. Like, what are we doing? Like that involves all
Mhm.
these characters. Like I can kind of imagine, I can kind of picture that perhaps because we don't know if Mark Ruffalo is playing Bruce Banner or if he's playing the Hulk, or perhaps he probably might
Both.
be playing a
Yeah.
mix of both. But I can very much see a world in which Peter Parker is going to Bruce Banner for help. I can totally see that. But what the fuck's Punisher doing in this movie? Like, I'm so confused. Um, but I think, in terms of the creative team behind it, Destin Daniel Cretton, who we mentioned before for Wonder Man,
Yeah.
great choice to direct. Fantastic choice to direct. Um, I think that we're going to see some really, 'cause if I remember correctly, I think Jackie Chan's stunt team is doing the choreography for this,
Hmm.
which that is obviously going to give us hopefully some really good action scenes. Because I think that was one thing that was missing from the previous kind of trilogy was some really solid action scenes.
Yeah.
Um, there was certainly some like big spectacle ones, but nothing that was kind of really punchy in the same way that
Choreographed.
we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the same way that what we got, particularly like in the Raimi movies. I think we might be seeing a lot more of that here. Um, and Tom Holland, he's aged a bit since we last saw him. He's aged up quite a bit. I think that's going to be. I think he's going to approach the character in a different way than what we saw previously. I think we're going to see a lot more of a matured Peter Parker than what we've seen. Um, I love the new suit as well. Oh, that new suit.
Beautiful.
That new
Beautiful.
suit's
Yeah.
amazing. So yeah, I think this is exciting. It's going to be a fun film, and I think for me, I've personally been, I think I've been a lot kinder on the MCU Spider-Man films than a lot of people have.
Yes.
Um, like Homecoming for me is like honestly top tier MCU, as is No Way Home. Far From Home, I can kind of take or leave, but
Yeah.
especially the first and the third one, I absolutely adore. And I think that if this can obviously continue that trajectory, then I'm going to be a big fan of it. I'm going to really enjoy it, and hopefully this is just going to do. I just hope that this is going to be because there was obviously all these rumors going into it that this was going to be kind of like a multiversal story, and I just kind of hope they do kind of keep it. Not,
Mhm.
I'm not saying let's keep this completely ground level because it's not going to be, but so long as we can keep it kind of in the realm of the MCU, I'd be happy
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, like it seems like there was that argument from Marvel and Sony for a while, was like grounded multiverse, and I think, yeah, it seems like it's going to be grounded, like for the most part. Obviously, like I know we have the Hulk in here, and like everyone's complaining once we got that, was like, I think you can have Hulk involved and it still feel grounded. Like I think
Yeah,
the best Hulk stories are the personal stories, are the intimacies of that, like Hulk versus Banner, and like Peter and Hulk have never interacted, like Peter and Bruce have never interacted on screen, which is crazy. And I think again, I think this movie is a I think this will either be one of the best things on this list this year are the worst. Like, it could go either way. Like, it could feel very Spider-Man 3, where it's overbloated and too much is happening, or they're Mad Men, and it's the perfect recipe of what they're doing. And I am leaning more towards on the positive side. Like, I am happy with all the things that we've heard, for the most part. Like, yeah, there's one or two things that make me a little nervous, but I feel like we're in good hands. I feel like Tom is a lot more control this time around, and it feels like he has a
Mm.
lot of good ideas of what he wants to do, and it feels like he wants to make it not artsy, but like a little bit more personal and like a little bit more of his own. And I am, yeah, like, what's the Sadie Sink of it all? Like, what's that going to be? And also, like, are there build-ups to Doomsday? Because this is the last Marvel movie before Avengers Doomsday, and that's a pretty big thing as well. We've heard the post-credit scene is going to be setting that up, and what does that look like? And so I am beyond excited. This is my personal most anticipated comic book movie of next year. I again, but that's also probably just in line. It's literally Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's kind of just my guy. And like anytime we get
Yeah.
Spider-Man anything, I'm kind of like, well, I'll be there. I just the guy. And yeah, like, it kind of feels like in many ways, like, based on those behind the scenes teasers, when like we see him kind of coming out like with the costume, I'm like,
Yeah.
this is what I've been wanting. Like the behind the scenes video with him like talking with the kids, and he's like on the wires and he's on the tank and he's ducking and dodging. I'm like, this is what I've been begging for. Like, this is the Spider-Man movie I've dreamed of. And I think if you can capture that same energy, this could be one of my favorite Spider-Man movies if done correctly. But again, it could also be a train wreck, and it'd be too much and too bloated. And we just gotta wait and see. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting what you say about Tom Holland having like a bit more control over this because, since we last saw Tom Holland in the MCU, I think a lot's changed for him. He kind of took a step back from acting for a couple of
Mhm.
years. He kind of took a couple of years out, and I think probably in that time he's had a lot of time to think and reflect about what he wants to do and where he wants to go. And I think probably for the first trilogy, I think he probably felt like a kid in a candy store, like, where he's been brought into this universe at
Yeah.
such a young age, and he's kind of just go with the flow. He's not going to mess around too much. But I think he sort of realized now at the age he is, he's kind of got a bit more pull than he probably originally thought he does.
Oh yeah.
Um, being the lead of this franchise and being kind of the face of Sony as an entire cinematic brand, he can kind of suggest more things and kind of put things in place of where he wants the character to go and what he wants to do with it. And I think he's definitely been doing that from what we can see.
Yeah.
And even on like a very, very basic, like nerdgasm level, like you're telling me that like the idea we're potentially going to be getting a fight scene involving Spider-Man, Hulk, and the Punisher all in one thing. Like, even if the movie's crap, if we get that, at least it's something.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's something we'll remember. I don't think it will be crap. I think it's going to be good. But but
yeah.
even if we just get that, that's going to be something exciting for us to see. So, yeah, I'm probably there with you. I think in terms of comic book movies, this is probably my most anticipated. I think.
Yeah.
Um, it seems like it's all lining up. Like I said, my only concern with it is that is there too much going on here? But I'm hoping that Destin Daniel Cretton does kind of. I'm hoping he's got the control over it to rein it in. Which so far, everything I've seen from Destin Daniel Cretton, I think I've seen all of his movies. Um, I fully trust him. So yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. And going from my most anticipated movie on this list, let's go to my most anticipated show, not just in terms of a show, but like comic book show, but my favorite, my most anticipated show in general next year, is X-Men '97 season 2. My word, I have been counting the days of this coming out. Were you a fan of season 1? Was this a show that you watched?
Yeah, I watched season one. I think this. I'm not going to be negative on this, but I'm
No.
just not as attached to it. I
Oh,
think is
interesting.
more
Okay.
what it is. I liked season one. I watched season one. I really enjoyed it. To be honest, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would because I've personally never watched the original '90s X-Men show.
Fair. Fair.
Um, I kind of went into it completely blind and just as like a fan of X-Men in general, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. So I'll definitely be checking out season two. I just don't feel like as attached to it, I think, as a lot of
Okay.
people do. And I get there's a lot of nostalgia attached to it, which completely makes sense. That's completely fair. And if I had watched it, I'd be right there with you. But I think just for me personally, it's not like on the top of my priority list. But I think it's going to be good, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Because that first season really surprised me at how good it
Yeah.
actually was. So yeah,
I I was I don't know. I think this show just kind of like took a hold of me as it was airing. Like I have somewhat of an attachment to like the original. Like it was my first comic book show I watched. But like it was
yeah,
just kind of like, oh, I saw that it was on and I was like, oh, that was cool, but I never actually watched through it. So I binged it before the season came out and I was just so enamored of what that show was able to pull off in terms of its storytelling, to its characters, to its animation. Episode 5 is probably one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen of TV. I've never been so speechless while watching an
yeah,
episode. It might be my favorite season or like episode of television. I thought that episode was like a masterpiece. I thought it was so brilliant, and how it kind of built off of that episode from there forward was so masterful. I am nervous about the Bo DeMayo of it all, of what's
yeah,
going on.
yeah,
I think season 2 will be okay. I'm nervous about season 3. I'm glad he's out of there, but you know, changing up in writers' rooms can be a bit scary. It can that uncertainty. But you know, they kept like the entire crew except for him, and it seems like they're all kind of happy he's out of there. So you know what? I'm like, you know what? Let me give these guys a shot. Let's see what they got. Um, I'm beyond excited though. I saw. I probably shouldn't be admitting this, but I did see the leak trailer when it came out. What was it at D23 or was it Comic Con this last summer?
yeah. I think it
It
was
was something like that.
D23. I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah. Blew my mind. Again, I shouldn't have watched that, but what I saw was like, oh, that looks incredible. Oh my god. So excited to see what they do this season. It's going to be very exciting. Again, we don't know much right now. We have no marketing, no details. We still got quite a few months for this to come out. But
yeah.
my
To be
most
fair,
anticipated.
like I mean, if I have any like ringing endorsement on X-Men '97, I remember watching the first episode because, like I say, I wasn't attached to it, so I didn't go into it with much hype. I didn't really think much of it. I watched the first episode of it on my lunch break, and I don't really watch TV shows at work like on my lunch because I don't like watching shit on my phone. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I just put it on because I had nothing else to sort of watch at the time. I thought, yeah, well, and I remember just like coming out of the episode, coming out of my lunch break, feeling so hyped. I was like, that was so good. It like gave me the motivation for the rest of the day. It's crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm not attached to it, but I really enjoyed it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right, this next one, and we have a series of TV shows here. This one, I'm not sure how it works for you guys over there. I know there's some weird streaming situations for you guys, which is such bullshit. I wish you guys had the access that everyone has. But that's Lanterns. Again, I don't know what's going on. It's an HBO, it's a Max show. You guys don't have HBO Max, right? That's a thing?
No, so we have like you've probably heard of Sky, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I think you've probably heard
Yeah.
of Sky. So we've got Sky. So everything HBO comes onto a channel called Sky Atlantic. And then we have a streaming service called Now TV, which you can subscribe to, which that has all the Sky stuff on it because Sky here in the UK is like a big broadband network company. So like if you're a subscriber through Sky, you get your internet, your phone, and all that through it. Whereas Now TV, you can just pay that and get access to like the TV shows and stuff. So that's what I have. That's what like I'm watching, like Welcome to Derry through stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Um Lanterns. Lanterns season 1 originally pushed back. This was supposed to be in the first half of the year, around the February
yeah,
March era. It's now seemingly going to be after Supergirl. Again, everything from this point onward doesn't have an official date, or most of them don't at least. So it's kind of eyeballing where I put them in here. But if I had a guess, I'd say it's probably going to be like in late July, August, maybe late August era.
I was thinking August. That's kind of my
August.
prediction. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, you know what? And that's my biggest fear right now. Is like, okay, you have Supergirl in June, and then this in August, and then we'll talk about it later, but Clayface in September. Like, that's not a large gap. They're kind of all smushed up at the very end of the year and back half of the year, which scares me a little bit. But here or there, Lanterns, again, not much marketing. We've had this singular frame for about a year and a half. And we recently got about like 8 seconds of footage and like what's coming up this year promo. Pretty divisive show as well. I mean, are you feeling good? Are you? I know some people in my circle are like, I'm not looking forward to it as much. How are we feeling?
I'm it's I have such a strange relationship with the show already.
Yeah,
Um, I'm very mixed on it because, to be honest, like just to be like, I guess to kind of cover it entirely,
yeah.
I'd probably say this is my most anticipated show of these.
Okay,
Um,
fair.
Now, I love Green Lantern. Absolutely love Green Lantern. When I wanted a Green Lantern project for the DCEU that never ended up materializing, and then the fact that James Gunn came out straight away with the DCU announcement was like, we've got a Lanterns project. I was like, thank fuck. Um, but the fact that it's so weird because everything I'm seeing about it, I like, but it's not what I do with a Green Lantern show.
Yeah.
So, like for one, I wanted a movie. I didn't want a TV
Mm,
show. I think for Green Lantern, like if you're gonna go for it, go for it. Like do big cosmic movie. I know it's probably a risk, and I know that that probably isn't the financially smart decision for Warner Brothers, especially when obviously they've been burned by a Green Lantern movie before. So I get that. But for me, like the idea of a Green Lantern TV show, I kind of saw the writing on the wall in the fact of this probably isn't going to be the kind of big, you know, Jeff Johns inspired Green Lantern story that I want, which is, for me, like I'm a huge fan of like the Lantern lore with all the other Lantern colors and stuff like that. But
sure.
that's what I kind of want to see a live action series or film explore. So when it was announced as like an HBO Max show, I was like, yeah, that's probably not happening. But still, looking at the show and what it is and the way it's being described, it's kind of being, it's being described as this true detective homage,
Yeah.
a sort of, detective story in the heartland of America. That's so my shit, man. Like I say, it's not what I want from a Green Lantern show, but as a show, like if this was completely unrelated from
Oh,
DC, I'd be hyped as fuck for this.
yeah.
Um, so again, I'm mixed on it. Like I think as a Green Lantern show, it's not what I want, it's not what I do, but I'm still looking forward to it anyway, just as a TV show. And then if it ends up being a decent Green Lantern show, then at least I've got that as well. Especially when the castings are so strong at this point. Like
Hmm.
Aaron Pierre, like obviously you can see him on screen there. That's John Stewart. That just is John Stewart. Um, and I know a lot of people are iffy on Kyle Chandler. I like Kyle Chandler. I think he's got like again, if I was doing it, if it was completely up to me, I would have a younger Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like Kyle Chandler, and I think he looks good in the role. Um, and also for me, like I mentioned it at the beginning when we were talking about the boys, but one of the main villains of the show Banshee, which is the show that got me to watch the boys, the main villain of that show was played by Ulrich Thompson, who's in this show as Sinestro.
Sinestro. Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Like I say, I am looking forward to it, and that little 8 seconds of footage we got there, obviously, it was it was very much like True Detective. That's what it looked like. It basically showed nothing
Yeah.
relating to the Green Lanterns really, outside of obviously just a shot of the ring. I'm kind of wait and see on it, but
Yeah.
it feels weird saying it's my most anticipated because I feel like I've been quite negative on it. But it's just because again, I'm in two minds with it, where I'm like, it's not what I want to do with it, but at the same time, it looks fucking sick. So what do you want me to do?
No, I agree. I agree. I've been a defender of this. I know like a lot of my friends are like, no, it's gonna be so whatever. Like but to be fair, I think a lot of me and my friends are a little burned by like comic book projects that don't fully embrace the comic booky nature of them, or
Yeah,
like how many shows have we watched where it's like, oh, it's this character but without the main pieces of those characters, the like Gothams and
yeah,
all those kind of things, the Gotham Knights and stuff like that. And so, it being a much more grounded take on Green Lanterns, I understand why that's concerning for many people. I think this is going to be very similar to Wonder Man that we talked about earlier. I've also used the Daredevil comparison, season one more particularly, of just like it may not the big comic book fans that want to see full on Green Lantern may not be happy, but I think it will be a very well done made show. Like this is an HBO Max. This is HBO. This is an
yeah.
HBO show. And I think we might, like, I think this is going to be a situation of ending the show where we kind of want to start the show. Like, I think we're going to end it where it's like, oh, it seems like it's like passing of the torch. It's going to take the season to get him to the point where, like, oh, they're Green Lantern now. But
Yeah,
that's episode 8, and people are like, no, I wanted the whole show. And then after this, I think is when they're going to pitch the movie. We're going to go, okay, we'll see these again in like a Green Lantern movie, and that's the movie everyone kind of wants. Where it's like, shouldn't you have just done that to begin? You know. So, but again, we don't know nothing yet. Like I don't feel confident enough saying all that yet. I've seen a lot of very grounded shows that can go cosmic. My favorite example of this, going back to like the like CW stuff, Superman and Lois, I think, is a great example of that. That show feels very serious, very grounded, very small town. But then you'll just see like Clark having a fight with Doomsday on the moon. It's like, oh my god, okay, you
yeah,
can't get there. So if you can kind of find that balance, and I can feel satisfied with this. Either way, though, I'm so excited to have the like 8-week discussion on like Green Lantern. Like that's so exciting.
yeah.
Um,
And I think what you said there as well, like it's important to remember this is an HBO show. Generally speaking, quality is high,
yes,
and
yeah,
it's also event television. Like it's that classic like water cooler television where this is going to be a weekly release for 8 weeks, and if it hits and it bangs, then this is going to get that conversation going. It's going to keep these characters in the minds of people, and hopefully, I mean, I never even considered what you just said, which is the idea of we get this season, it sets Jon Stewart up as like our main Green Lantern of the universe, and then we get a movie. I didn't even consider that as an option, and that's all I want now. So thanks for that. Thanks for giving me like hope that's probably not going to happen. Um, so I think I do think this is going to be a good show. I think it's going to be really well made. I think it's going to be a great show, and even if it's not a good Green Lantern show, I think for me personally, I'm still going to enjoy it for what it is. Um, but again, it's hard to judge this one because we've had this
it
one
is.
image for all of eternity, and we're just waiting on some more footage, which hopefully we'll get a trailer soon. Fingers crossed.
I think it was a mistake to release this image and that little teaser we got, because I think it's kind of written in the stars of what kind of show it may be. Like I said months ago, like when we get that first teaser, it needs to show off the like Green Lantern isms of it. Like even just like a singular shot with them like holding up the ring and it glows a little bit. Like I think people need that. And
Yeah,
like again, if you didn't know this was DC, this is a Western show. This is like some like
yeah.
Walker Texas Ranger or something. Like people don't. I don't know. Like the marketing's been weird so far, and hopefully they can. I don't know, rebound from it.
Do
Okay,
you
we
wonder if
have.
they're do you wonder if they're holding off because like they're like because also we had Guy Gardner in Superman, and that kind of gave us a tease of what Green Lanterns might look like in this universe. Do you think they're like holding off on it because like well people sort of if people have seen Superman they kind of know what the constructs and whatnot are going to look like.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if they're holding off for that reason, but I don't think that's necessarily smart to do because especially if you're trying to get the general audience involved, people don't know that like Guy Gardner is a Green Lantern and that's the same that connects to this and I don't
sure.
think
Yeah.
that's especially if this show is going to go a lot more cosmic than we think it is, then
Hmm.
you could be misselling the show at this point and being like, oh, it's this small town detective drama, but episode 4, we're all of a sudden in space.
Yeah.
And that's, and that could, if people going into it completely cold, if they're going based on like, say, for example, literally that 8 seconds of footage we got from the HBO tease, people are sold on the show from that and they go, oh yeah, cool, looks like a, cool like mystery
Mhm.
thriller, go into it and they're watching it and then it's like all of a sudden yeah there's like purple dudes in green suits flying around. That's gonna be a lot for someone to cut. They're gonna be like, what, am I watching the same show? Like I don't know. um I think they need to be a bit more, hopefully they'll do it when the trailer comes out like officially, but they need to be a bit more upfront about what the show is actually going to be.
Mhm.
But again, it might not be that, so I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I have my fears, but I'm also, like you said, very excited. It's probably one of, in terms of live action, I think it's up there for me in terms of the shows that we have coming out. Okay, next up here, not live action. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man season 2 coming out in the fall of next year. We don't have to talk too long about this because we are kind of in the back half here. I do want to get through some of these, but I liked season one a lot. I thought season one was incredibly fun. I was probably my biggest surprise of 2025, actually. Like,
Mm.
I had kind of low key low expectations, and then we got it, and it was like, oh, this is in my probably top 10 shows of the year. And it's this love letter to everything Spider Man. And the story and the heart they gave was, I was not expecting it. You have expectations for this one?
I mean, I'm just hoping it kind of continues, the quality of season one. I think,
Yep.
like, again, I was the same as you. I didn't go into it with high expectations, and I came away from it thinking, wow, like that was a lot deeper than I thought it was. It was actually really well done, and just a really good Spider-Man story. I loved the animation style. I thought it was gorgeous.
It looks good.
Um,
Yeah.
Again, it's not like a traditional animation style. It's not something I expected to love, especially from the trailers. But actually seeing it on screen, I thought it was really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's gonna sound so weird, but much to like the main actor's dismay, I loved how woke it was. I thought it was purely for the. I will never get
Yeah.
over that. Him being like, "Oh, this show's great because it's not woke, and it's maybe like the most woke Spider-Man thing that's ever been made." Um,
Yeah.
but I loved that for the show. I thought it was really, really. I thought it was really good. The fact that it took those swings because it's
Mm.
something that that was a good
Wings.
good swings. Um, didn't that was completely unintentional. Um, but it was doing sort of things that I don't think the movies would ever do.
No.
And it focused on characters of characters of color that I don't think would have ever have gotten the same spotlight in a big production.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. So hopefully with season two, like I say, I just hope it just carries on the quality. And I was also just as like a final point, I was shocked how much I liked it because obviously this show was originally conceived as being like an MCU prequel. It was going to take place
Yeah.
before Civil War, turned into its own thing, and I thought, like, do we need two Spider-Mans like running at the same time? Like, I just don't really feel like I needed that. But this was so fresh,
Mm-hmm.
and and what I loved about it as well is the fact that it was its own Spider-Man story, but we still got like all these like Marvel characters. It like we got like Daredevil, voiced by Charlie Cox, weirdly,
Yeah.
and there was a Captain America cameo and an Iron Man cameo, and I thought that was really, really awesome. So it's still like it kind of reminds me in a way of the Insomniac Spider-Man games, where it's
Yes.
very much a singular Spider-Man story, but it exists in this larger Marvel world. And yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I fully agree. I think it's important Marvel to do these Elseworld what if stories. I think I love the MCU with all my heart, but for so long that's all we got. It was just the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's it. And so I think I know it's mainly done with like Spider-Man, but like I think last year being able to get the what if, to get the Spider-Man, to get these like alternate versions of these characters is so important for the genre. And I think it helps the brand a little bit, being like, okay, they're still putting out content, but it doesn't always have to be tied to the mainline universe. And I think it improves upon. I like Tom's Spider-Man. I think he's a great Spider-Man, but this is like kind of the ideal version of that story for me. Like it takes what works about his take of the character, and also Toby and Andrews and Spectacular and the comic books and Insomniac, and it takes them all and puts them in a blender, and it creates this new like kind of Frankenstein version of the character that is slowly becoming one of my favorite takes on the character. And this is just season one. Like, how am I going to feel like what they said? They at least have a 4-season journey with it or something like that. Like, that's
Yeah,
exciting. So, sign me up for more. I'm excited. We have to wait till fall, but I'm in.
yeah. But again, they've
Um,
turned this around in a year, so well, pretty much a year. So that's
yeah.
pretty exciting. That also gives us hope that season three will be out in 2027. Probably
They've said
maybe.
their plan is one a year. They've said
Yeah,
this, X-Men 97, and Daredevil are all going to be yearly shows going forward, which is so exciting.
yeah.
That's so unbelievably exciting. That brings me so much joy. Alrighty, our final, well, I guess not technically our final, but our final movie here, I guess our final DCU project here, Clayface. I think the biggest wild card project on this list. This is the one where I'm like, well, it could be anything. It could be the best thing on this list. It could be the worst thing on this list. It could be middle of the road. This movie could literally be anything.
Yeah, I'm completely in the same boat. Like this could go in any direction at this point. Like I was talking before, I sort of teased this before, but I love the fact that they're releasing a Supergirl movie straight after a Superman movie. I don't agree with this one. I think a Clayface movie being the third film in the DCU is
It's a choice.
crazy. It is a choice.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, like if they've got a good story, if they've got a good script, and if it's gonna be a good movie, why the hell not? I just think it's kind of bizarre that like we haven't had a Batman movie in this universe, and then they're doing this. It's
Yeah.
kind of giving, DCEU a little bit where we just
A
got
little
all
bit.
these random films sometimes. Um, Especially for a character like Clayface, who's not even like, in the upper echelon of Batman villains. It's not, because a few years ago, they do a Joker movie fight that you can do a Joker movie. That's absolutely
You can.
fine. You could probably get it. Probably wouldn't do amazingly well, but you could get away with doing someone like the Riddler, the Penguin. Obviously, Penguin got a TV show. You can. There's certain characters you can kind of put a bit of money in, and you'll probably do all right. Clayface is one of those characters I don't think is in that same conversation. He's kind of a B tier, C tier Batman villain. That
Sure.
might be a bit harsh for some people. I don't know. Um, and he's never been done in live action before. Like it's not like he was done even back in like the 80s and the 90s movies. Um, he's never been done in live action, so this is going to be an interesting test, I think, for the DCU. Um, and it kind of reminds me as well of Marvel many many years ago. People like this was like when Ant-Man was coming out. People were talking about, oh, is Ant-Man going to be Marvel's first flop? Like this is the character that
Hmm.
people don't know about and all that. And I think on the brand alone, Ant-Man was able to do quite well.
Yeah.
Clayface is coming out so much earlier in this timeline to what Ant-Man did in
Yeah.
the MCU. This is going to be such a test. Like, I don't think this will do well. I that's my prediction for this. I don't think it's going to do
Ooh.
well,
I
and
think
that's
it will
nothing to
do.
do with the quality. That's nothing to do
Yeah.
with the quality of the movie. Like, I think the creative team they've got behind it is quite good. And I hope it's going to be quite an interesting film. But
Yeah.
in terms of like the general audience, like people going to go see it, I just don't think this is gonna do well at all, personally.
I'm kind of on the opposite opinion in terms of like success. I think it will do well because it's a lower budget though. This isn't
Yeah,
a
there is that.
Superman. I think we're looking at an 80 million, 100 million budget at the max. And in September, right? I think they are heavily going to market to the horror movie genre. Those movies do bank. Those movies
Yeah,
do very well. And I agree. I would have preferred Brave and the Bold before this. But I think they probably knew, hey, that movie's not coming out until probably at least 2029, if not 2030. The Batman Part 2 is not ready yet. And I think they probably approached him with the script and they said, oh, this is very good. Is it ready? It's ready? All right, well, greenlight it. Let's get it going. I think they probably wanted another movie in this time slot and nothing else was ready yet. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's let's get it going. And I do think them being that confident about it does make me excited. I think the script had to have been that good for them to immediately see it and immediately go, yeah, put up a date for it, get it out, like get this thing going. Like I it feels like they're confident about it. Now, am I
yeah,
excited? Somewhat. I think curiosity is kind of where I'm at right now. It, I feel like this is going to be very art piece. I think it's going to be very
mm.
Joker one. Hopefully, more Joker one than Joker two.
Yeah,
It feels like maybe it's going. I could see this being up even if it's done well enough, like in like the Oscar kind of like conversations. If it's marketed properly, it feels like it could be very like A24 style. I think the story of Clayface could be very fascinating. Like I like the idea of this actor whose life gets ruined in an instant because he looks different. Like there's great commentary, very substance that we got last year for like Oscar season stuff like that. So again, I think it's going to be good. It's my least anticipated on this list though, just on the case of
yeah,
I don't care about Clayface as much as, but they have said they've took inspiration off of Batman the animated series, which is like the best Clayface. Like if they take inspiration
yeah.
from that episode, like that gets me excited. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Just kind of like exclude Batman from that story, and it still kind of works as like a narrative character piece or like character study of someone. So I'm like, all right, I'll be there. Let's hope it does well. Hopefully, I think they wanted like an easy win too. I think they wanted, hey, a cheap movie. Hopefully, can bring us some buck in, very cheap money. Because I think they need wins. I think Warner Brothers needs a couple of those slam dunks. As they're
Yeah,
struggling.
I do wonder if they're releasing this slightly too early, as
I
well.
agree. I
Like
agree.
I feel
The
like this
October.
is you've got to play this in the Halloween
Yeah.
season. I feel like it coming out in September is slightly too early, especially because, like you say, there's so many movies that come out in October that are these low budget horror movies that just do so well. They could easily have folded that into it, but we'll see. We'll see. I agree with you. Like, this is definitely like my least anticipated on the list. Um, Mainly just because it's such a swing, like an interesting choice for the third film to be like, because again, I can Superman, that makes sense as the first film. Supergirl makes sense almost as like a sequel to that.
Mm-hmm.
Then to go straight into Clayface when we haven't had an inkling of Batman, like outside of like Creature Commandos,
Yeah.
but that was, that's such its own
Yeah.
thing, really. But I mean, Clayface was in Creature Commandos, so I guess there is kind of tie in there
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's going to be good. I do think it's going to be good. I just think it's curious. It's a
Yeah.
curious choice,
It is
and
a cute.
we'll see how it does.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's like a mini side rant I could go on where like Halloween creepy movies will not come out at the right time. Like what we had
Yeah,
this couple years ago with like Haunted Mansion came out in like July. I'm like, what are we doing? Five Nights at
yeah,
Freddy's just came out at Christmas time. I'm like, what are we doing? It Welcome to Derry had an eight episode run which came out what a week before Halloween instead of like in September where it should have ran the entire season. And
yeah,
then it's like December. It's like almost Christmas, and we're watching like it. I'm like, what are we doing? Well, you're placing these in the wrong times. Like it's so weird how they do that sometimes. But again, that's a rant for another day. Okay, I'm gonna try and get through the rest of these kind of semi quickly. Vision Quest, the Vision series for Disney Plus, the Vision led the White Vision led series with a bunch of what Ultron is coming back for this. A lot of the androids. I know there's rumors for maybe some Agents of Shield tie-ins. Crossing my fingers there. Um, this is another weird one because we also don't know much about it in terms of just like okay, some of the characters we know are involved, and that's kind of it right now.
yeah. I think for me, like, I don't really have a whole lot to say on Vision Quest because again, we don't really know much about it. It's kind of a big enigma at the minute.
Mm,
Um, I think for me though, like the one thing I'll say about it is I've kind of loved this unofficial sort of trilogy we're now getting of
trilogy,
Disney Plus shows where
yeah,
like WandaVision was brilliant. I loved Agatha. Oh my God, Agatha was so good.
me
Not
too.
enough people watched it.
I loved it.
Really good. And then this is kind of like the third part, especially if this does introduce the sort of adult version of Tommy.
Hmm.
Um, and I also love the fact that even though it's like this unofficial trilogy, each show is so different, or they all, this one seems to be completely different as well. I'm a big fan of this kind of like little corner of the MCU they've built out on Disney Plus. I think it's one of the most like successful um and fun parts
Yeah,
of this kind of
I
Disney
agree.
Plus era we've had. And if this is a part of that, then yeah, I am on board. I am on board with it.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. I am. I think I'm way more excited for this than most people are. Like I like Vision. I think Paul Bettany is a masterclass in like what he's been given
Yeah.
to do so far. He doesn't get much, but when he gets to shine, he shines. And then Ultron's one of my favorite villains. I never thought really got the time of day. He's getting to come back. You have um you have Jarvis coming back from Agent Carter. I'm a big fan of that era of TV. Again, there's a lot of rumors about maybe some Agents of Shield's tie-in, which I would of course adore. And then yeah, I'd like to think the Billy and Tommy of it all is so fascinating. I think this is going to be a bigger project than people realize. I think this is going to set up more than people realize. I think this is our first big step into Young Avengers if we don't get to see a little something by the end of the show. Like I think they might set up more for Doomsday than people may think they're setting up for Doomsday. So I am not probably huge, but I think maybe by the final bits of it, they might be like, oh, what's that leading to? Okay, that's interesting. And also just like what does it mean for like Scarlet Witch and all that stuff. Like they haven't
Yeah.
confirmed anything for her, but I think there's a reason they haven't confirmed anything for her because I think they're saving
Yeah.
it for this. So um, Also, no date for this, but it's rumored for fall. Although I could see this getting pushed to next year because we have no dates for it, no real massive info. I could see this getting pushed to maybe in between some Doomsdays and Secret Wars, maybe depending.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Well, like you say, if it's going to set up stuff for like Young Avengers in Doomsday, then it would make sense to release it in the fall. But it's like you say, but we are still like I think the fact we haven't seen anything from it yet, I'm not particularly worried, to be honest. Like I think we
Sure,
are still far enough out from it because I know
fair.
people will be like,
Yeah,
oh well, we're seeing Doomsday stuff. Yeah, but Doomsday's different. Like that's such a big
that's
event,
a
and in
different
terms
brand. Yeah,
yeah, and in terms of the marketing, like and especially where the MCU's at this point, they kind of need to start getting people on board with that now.
yeah.
Vision Quest is a little bit different. So I'm not really worried about it in the fact we haven't seen anything from it yet. I still think this will come out this year because it seems to have had a pretty steady production. Like it's went into production like about a year and a
Mhm.
half ago, and it's been pretty steady since then. So I think it
Mhm.
will come out this year. I think it will.
I yeah, I'd hope so. But also, we've seen things like Wonder Man was supposed to come out last year, and it's
Well,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So again, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, I guess my only concern with it is that both this and Spider-Man are set for fall, and that's the only thing where I'm like, okay, maybe December, but then we're in Doomsday era, so it's just like there's a lot this year. They have to trying to jumble them all. And speaking of which, this is a good transition, I guess. Avengers Doomsday, the the event of the year, I guess we could say. The like it or hate it, the movie of the year, I'd say. Um, I've had my journey with this movie. I've had incredible excitement for this. I've had my concerns, I've had my confusions, and we're still a year out. There's going to be tons of more of this in the next year to come. Um, this movie might be the death of me. It might be the savior of me. I don't know. How are you feeling? Like we're getting marketing right now. We've at the time of this is recording, they've officially put out the Steve Rogers trailer and the Chris Hemsworth trailer. We should be getting another one of these in a couple of days at the time of this being recorded. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling bad? Are you in the middle?
I don't know how I feel. Is
Fair.
is the answer. I don't
Fair.
know. Like I'm like you. Like I've been. It's almost like the different stages of grief going through this
Yeah.
production of this, where it's like because when they first obviously this was supposed to be Kang Dynasty, and then it's got turned into this, and there's all this desperation surrounding it with Robert Downey Jr. coming back, and now Chris Evans coming back.
Hmm.
But then something inside of me is like, yeah, but like the Russos are back, and like say what you want about the Russos, but they make banging Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are forgetting, like there's all this revisionist history that happens online, especially in the comic book space, where people are like, "Oh, I hate the Russos," and I don't like the Russos. Like, well, you did 10 years ago. You absolutely
Yeah.
loved them 10 years ago, and I'm not
You
being
did.
funny. You didn't watch Cherry. I'm not being funny. You're saying you did, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Um, so the Russos coming back genuinely does give me a lot of hope towards this because if there's one thing they're good at, it's working with Marvel.
Yeah.
Um, but there is all these things about the film where obviously we've got Robert Downey Jr. coming in as Doom, which I'm
I
not
don't
happy
know.
with.
Yeah.
I also think it's incredibly like we're just rushing Doom at this point. Um, and then we've got Chris Evans coming back, which I'm also not happy about because I mean, again, I love these two actors. Of course, I do. I grew up with them, and I love these characters. But they're just changing. They're very much adapting this to kind of get the old Marvel fans back. And I get it. Like I get why they're doing it. Marvel's in a tricky position right now. Um, but it just feels like they're making a lot of the wrong decisions where now we're getting Chris Evans back. And if the rumors are to be believed, he's going to be the center of the film. He's going to be the lead of the movie. So it kind of feels like all this build up we've had in phase 4 and 5 with all these new characters that for like, especially for me, like I've stuck with Marvel quite religiously. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed phase 4 and 5 for the most part. It kind of feels a bit of a kick in the teeth to be like, yeah, we're not going to do any of that, and we're just going to go back to the OG characters.
Yeah. It
Especially
does.
when they're setting this whole movie up to essentially be Chris Evans versus Robert Downey Jr. We've done that. We did that 10 years ago by the time this movie
Yeah,
came
we
out.
did. Yeah.
We don't need to do that again, especially when this is not going to have any of the build up or the personal stakes that Civil War had. Um, but then, I'm looking at these teasers and I'm like, I mean, the Chris Evans one was fine, but I like the Thor one was
Thor one's
really good,
incredible. It's so
really
good.
good. Um, and again, I mean, if the Russos they're good at working with Marvel, they're also good with Thor. they are probably the best
They
with
are,
Thor
yeah.
in the MCU. They know how to handle him better than anyone else does. And then we're getting, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm immune to nostalgia bait because I'm not. The X-Men coming back, awesome, really excited. Like obviously, I've
Yeah.
seen the leaked X-Men trailer. It's great. Seeing James Marsden back as Cyclops, getting officially that suit and
Yeah.
getting his redemption is going to be great. Um, and also just again, as like a fan of like the modern MCU, I'm looking forward to seeing the Fantastic Four again. I'm looking forward to seeing Thunderbolts again.
Yeah.
Um, I'm also looking forward to Sam Wilson's Captain America coming back, which
Mm.
hopefully he actually gets a role. Hopefully he's not overshadowed by Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Um, I think like I'm so mixed on it. I'm so mixed on it. Like
I,
I think as the days go on, I think I'm leaning more towards being excited about it than not.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's just the hype getting to me. It might be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm only human, but I think that there's just a lot. There is a lot riding on this. I do understand from a studio perspective why these decisions are being made, and I think for some fans, I think it's really going to work. Like I know there's a lot of people in my personal life who were fans of Marvel and who have kind of fallen off of it in the past few years,
Yeah.
and they're interested in this movie. So I think that kind of tells you what you need to know in regards to like people getting back on board.
Yeah.
Us nerds, we're such a minority in all this.
We are.
Like
Yeah.
we can kick and scream all we want. It doesn't matter. Like they've got to think about the general audience, and it seems to be in terms of that perspective, they're making the right decisions. But we'll see what happens. I think I'm excited about it. It's still an Avengers movie at the end of the day. That's exciting. We've not
Sure.
had an Avengers movie for a long time, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's good.
Yeah. I'm with you. I've had my grieving process. I think I've got all my things out multiple times, and now I'm kind of at a pace of like, oh, listen, I'm kind of tired of hating everything, and I'm kind of trying to focus on the things that I am excited because there's a lot of things I'm excited about, and I think the things I'm excited about aren't the things they want me to be excited about. Like I am excited for Sam to finally lead his own Avengers. I'm excited for
Yeah,
the Fantastic Four to meet the like Black Panther, getting Shuri as a full Black Panther, in an Avengers movie. Yelena is back and Bucky is back, and the X-Men, getting these actors actually playing these characters in the way we've been wanting to is gets me beyond excited. And we don't there's some characters that I think will be in here like Captain Marvel that we don't know about yet, and all this. Like I'm excited for that stuff. um and I'm kind of at a phase of just kind of dealing with the downy of it all because I get they want money, and this is, and I do think we'll probably recast some of these characters post Secret Wars because I think they want the iconic lineups of these characters, and so this is
yeah,
probably their last chance to do a lot of these nostalgic bait kind of characters coming back. So I get it from that perspective, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm mixed. It's middle of the road for me. But come December, I'll be the first in the theater with my bucket of
oh
popcorn,
yeah,
screaming. When all these iconic things come on screen. Like I'll be there. I'll be just the same as I was in 2018, 2019.
yeah.
Um,
Opening night, absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely. Okay, I have three more here. I'm gonna speed through these. These ones are like most likely coming out next year, but some of these have dates, some of these don't. Though probably the biggest wild card on here, the Spider-Man Noir Nicolas Cage Amazon series was supposed to come out last year. I'm 90% positive this is coming out next year, but it doesn't have officially a date.
Yeah,
Interesting
they started
project.
marketing this, so
Yeah.
I think it is coming out this year. But
Yeah.
very interesting project.
I listen, I kind of fuck with it. Sony's had a rough several years with the Spider-Man IP, and I will take this any day over Morbius
Mm,
and Madam Web. And that trailer that was not supposed to come out that everyone totally watched looked incredible. I was so
yeah,
blown away with how cool that looked. I think the fact that they have like a black and white version and a color version is so cool. Nicolas Cage takes anything he can get his hands on, and this feels like, I don't know, just feels so creatively interesting. Amazon is the perfect home for something like this as well. They have a
yeah,
fantastic track record, just TV in general, but like, they gave us The Boys and Invincible and The Tick and a lot of these comic book nerdy things that they've, Fallout's great and Reacher, like they have such a great track record.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, and like the fact this is gonna be a weekly show too is gonna be so much fun to talk about a live action Spider-Man show weekly, that's going to be so much fun. That's going to be great. I'm in.
Yeah, and I think I completely agree with you what you're saying about Amazon. I think they, in general, have such a consistent track record of good quality shows. I think this is the perfect home for this.
Hmm.
And I kind of a bit like, I guess, Clayface in a way, like what a choice. But I'm a lot more like optimistic towards this than I am
Sure.
Clayface,
Yeah.
because doing a streaming show of this, especially because you can just stick Spider. Like I know it's not obviously our main Spider-Man, but you can stick Spider-Man's name on it, and it's going to get eyes on it. Um, and even sticking Nicolas Cage's name on it is going to get eyes on it. Um,
Hmm.
this is just so interesting. Like, what a cool idea! Like, what a really cool idea. I'm really happy that Amazon have backed it and have gone full support this. Um, I just think it's great. I think and again, I think it's awesome that Nicolas Cage voiced Spider-Man Noir in
Hmm.
Spider-Verse, and now he's actually playing him in live action, despite this really having no connection to that movie, really. Um, I just think that's so cool. I think it's so cool. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm way more excited for this than like honestly a lot of the stuff on the list. Like despite the fact I'm excited about pretty much everything on it, this is
Yeah.
just so. This is such an out of left field choice, but I really respect it, and I'm here for it. Absolutely here for it.
I'm also right there for it. This is my dream of what Sony should be doing more of. Like I would be perfectly happy if we are, and we're already starting it. Um, but we just tell these variant Spider-Man stories with the alternate Spider-Man. They recently announced a Spider-Punk spin-off movie. In like the continuity of that, I know there's a Spider-Woman project in the works. I don't think that's canon to Spider-Verse, but still, like that idea of just like let's just show these other Spider-Man stories, just like within the giant multiverse of Spider-Man, and I think that just improves especially just basing that off of the like Spider-Verse stuff. It's like, oh, even if it's not canon, it's canon somewhere. It's out there somewhere in the large
Yeah,
multiverse, and there's so many versions of this. I'd love like they have such rich characters, and again, I don't think this is the same. I think this is Ben Riley technically. It's not like a Peter Parker,
yeah.
but who gives a shit? Like this could be really really cool.
Yeah, I just love it. And again, this is what Sony should have been doing from the beginning. Like the fact that we were getting, a Morbius and a Madam Web and a fucking El Muerto movie at one point. Like, why were we not getting this? Like, this is exactly what they should have been doing. Um, it's a shame we have to go through basically an entire cinematic universe for them to realize that. But I think this is really awesome, really cool.
Agree. All right, these next two also, these don't have dates, but if I was a betting man, it's been like almost 2 years since these two have hit the screen. My Adventures with Superman season 3 and Cape Crusaders season 2. We have not seen these in a long time, so I was like, they should be out next year, but they're not confirmed. Um, are these shows that you watched at all?
I started watching My Adventures with Superman, but I did fall off of it pretty early on. I do need to go back to it. And actually, same with Cape Crusader. I think I got a couple episodes in, didn't go back to it. From what I saw of both, I liked.
Hmm.
Um, I just think I just don't think they grabbed me
Sure.
particularly at the time, and there was probably other stuff I was watching that I was more invested in.
Mhm.
Um, but they don't seem like I've heard of very positive things about My Adventures with Superman. I know a lot
Yeah.
of people really love that show. Cape Crusader, not so much. I know that was quite a divisive one. Um, but I think I definitely want to go back to them at some point for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I like Superman a little bit more than Batman. I think Batman is a fun, solo little story about, Batman. It's more very episodic, very inspired by the animated series. But I needed a little bit more from it in season one, but it's very solid. And in My Adventures, it's just so much fun. It's such a romp. And I didn't put it on this list because I don't think it's coming out this year. But they also have the like My Adventures with Green Lantern that recently was announced,
Yeah,
and they're launching like what seemingly is like a new DC TV universe, which is exciting to me. Like that's just like, oh, okay, I'm back in like 2012 again with my with my
yeah,
with my little shared universe, and that's exciting. But yeah, no, I'm excited for both of these. I won't stick on this much, but both look just come back. Just I hope they both come back this year. And my final slide here, and I just threw all of these on the same list. The video games of the year. If these come out this year, I think two of these are for sure coming out. that last one over there, I'm a bit
Yeah.
concerned about. But Legacy of the Dark Knight comes out. They've been getting a lot of marketing. They've been really pushing this game. They've been at the Game Awards recently, which showed off some really cool things. Feels like a full celebration of Batman and its mythos in TV, movies, video games. Are you? I mean, you said that you were a game. I actually don't even know if that made it into the episode, but you said that
Yeah.
you're a gamer. Are any of these projects here stuff that you're like really looking forward to?
All three. All three. Um, like Lego Batman, like I mean, I love Lego games. They're just so reliable. They're so fun. Um, and I mean, if this is, I mean, the last Lego game we got, like the last official like TT Games one was the Skywalker Saga, which obviously basically
Mhm.
did for Star Wars what this is going to be doing for the Batman films.
Sure.
And I know the Skywalker Saga was a little bit divisive. I thought it was really good. Um, and I think that if this is following the same trend, then absolutely. And this seems to be as well going in quite a different direction for a Lego game. Like this isn't going to be quite the same. Like, oh, here's 150 characters and you've got all these different things going on. It seems to be a bit more linear, which I'm looking forward to. And this also seems to be like an unofficial Arkham game because the gameplay is exactly like the Arkham games, which I'm not complaining about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Legacy of the Dark Knight I think was great. Wolverine, like we've not seen a lot from Wolverine, but I'm purely excited about that just based on the fact that it's Insomniac, one of my favorite developers in the industry. Like I
Yeah.
grew up playing Ratchet and Clank, loved those games, and then when they obviously have taken on Spider-Man, I loved both of the Spider-Man games. So from what we have seen, looks great. I'm sure it's going to be really good. I'm pretty sure that's PlayStation's kind of big holiday
Yeah.
release for the end of the year. I think that's going to be
Yeah.
like a November
It's
release.
October, if I remember correctly, or September. It's like
Yeah.
fall. It's like the fall
Yeah,
era. Yeah.
it's the big four game, yeah. And then 1943, I mean, I don't know because I mean, we've only seen like basically a tech demo cutscene
Yeah.
from of it. And
Yeah.
I mean, and that looked really impressive. I love the concept. I think this is a really strong idea. I'll be honest with you, like the main thing that's kind of keeping me hyped for this is that the main story of the game is being written by Amy Hennig, who is the creator of my favorite video game series ever, Uncharted. Um, she's doing this. That's my main point of reference for
Yeah.
the game. Um, that gives me a lot of hope that the story and the characters are going to be brilliant. Um, but we don't really know what the game looks like. We don't know what the gameplay is going to be. We don't really know how it's going to work. Like we know there's four playable characters, right? Like I think they're all playable.
Yeah.
So that's also very interesting because they're all going to be very different. Um, I think this could be a really good project. It also could be crap. That's the thing. I
Yeah.
also feel like this could be a complete misfire. Um, but Amy Hennig being on the creative team is giving me hope. So
I'm with you. I'm really excited for this if it actually comes out because it was supposed to
yeah,
be. I mean, it was supposed to be last year and then got pushed back
yeah.
to early this year.
I don't think it's
That's
coming out this
fine.
year, to be honest with you.
And then yeah, it seems like now it's like it's late this year now, and it's just like we've seen this time and time again. We got this with the Wonder Woman a couple years back, which I will forever mourn the lack of that Wonder Woman game. Dear Lord,
Yeah,
that would have been incredible. I love the idea of playing as Black Panther and Captain America in this, like, just like give me more like prequel superhero stuff. Like especially Marvel. Marvel has I actually I guess both Marvel and DC, but like Marvel has such a rich history in their canon of these various characters. That's so much fun playing with like the fact that Captain America has been alive all these years and like, oh, like what other characters can you like interact with? So that's awesome. But yeah, it's like, but will it come out? Is it actually a real? I don't know. I have my doubts, but that trailer was incredible. Like that
yeah,
trailer made me so excited. But again, like we're dealing with this with like Blade right now too. Like the Blade game and movie technically have been
yeah,
like kind of have been kind of in the wind for a couple years now. It's like cool. When like I'm not big in the gaming sphere. I'm kind of just now starting to get into it a little bit more. But like I don't know. My take is like maybe don't announce things as early if you're not going to get them out. I know some of that's not
yeah.
in their control, but also it's like I don't want to know 5 years in advance when a movie or TV show or game is going to come out if I can't play it within or watch it within the 1 to 2 years of you showing me that.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the issue with a lot of these things is the gaming industry has been in such a kind of strange transition in the past few years where it used to be the case 10, 15 years ago where you could announce a game and it would be out in the next couple of years. That's
yeah,
not the case anymore. And the problem is game development has become so extensive and so expensive and it takes such a long time, but they haven't that they've got that problem, but they
yeah,
haven't adjusted the like announcement times. And again, some of it's not their fault. Like sometimes they will announce a game and they've got all the intention of it coming out at a certain date, but it will get pushed back and pushed back. Like, and delays are such a common thing in games. But they announced this 1943 game like I want to say in like 2022. It was like a good few years ago, and we're not even seeing it. Potentially not this year. It might be 2027. Like that's a crazy wait.
it's yeah.
E- Especially when they could have just kept the lid on it and announce it when you're sure. Because there's
Hmm.
very few games as well. Because you've got to keep the hype and the excitement for it there. And there's unless you're like Rockstar with GTA 6, you can't really do that.
Yeah,
Like Rockstar could literally announce GTA 6 being delayed. It's still going to be the biggest game of all time when it releases. It doesn't matter when they
yeah,
release it. It's going to happen.
yeah.
But not everyone can afford to do that. And I feel like the gaming industry hasn't quite adjusted to that yet.
Hmm.
Which, I will say, I think they've done a good job with Wolverine because that was something that they announced. Like, we knew a Wolverine game was coming. They announced that a long time ago. But, they showed up. Was it at the Game Awards last year? They showed up at the Game Awards and they went, here's the game, here's the gameplay. It's coming out next year.
Yeah,
Sweet.
made
Awesome.
such a splash too. Like it was such a
Massive
massive.
splash. Yeah.
It was
Like,
so.
huge.
I was yeah. No, I
And
I
same with
am.
like Lego Batman. Like, they just that came out of nowhere. That came out of
Which is
absolutely nowhere.
great.
And
Yeah,
yeah, and they were like, and it's
I was
out
like
next year.
more of that, please. No, but yeah, no, fully agree. Wolverine is up there for me in terms of this year though as well. Like
Yeah.
I will now play anything in terms of like Insomniac Marvel because again I'm a not a gamer. I've just got into it and like all three Spider-Man games are like some of the only games I've played like start to finish. I played a lot of games that's always like, hey, play a level and then I never pick it back up. But those games I'm
Yeah.
obsessed with. And I do think I have to tamper my expectations because I do think a reason I like those games so much is because, well, it is Spider-Man and I get to swing around as Spider-Man. And that's going to be a different experience. I'm not doing that with this game, but I love this little cinematic universe. I think if this hits, I could say this is my favorite Marvel universe. I think it's what maybe one of the more consistent Marvel universes if this hits.
Mm.
But no, I beyond excited for all three of these. I'll try and play all three of these if they do ultimately come out. Um, but yeah, with that being said, that takes us to the end of our show, Declan. That's kind of it for time. Declan, thank you so much. This was an absolute pleasure. Out of all the things we talked about today, if you could only consume one of these, watch or play, which one would it be?
Oh my God.
it's
Um,
it's a tough year. It's a really really stacked year.
wow. Um, I think if I had to pick one, I would probably, this might be surprising actually, but I would maybe go with The Boys season 5.
Whoa. Okay. Hell yeah.
And I think
Okay.
that's because only because it's a show that I'm attached to and I love. Whereas a lot of these other things we're getting this year are kind of these new projects or their original projects that haven't had, build up to it and whatnot. So if they never existed, I'd be
Sure.
like, okay, fine, whatever.
You want
But
to
with
see
The
a wrap
Boys,
up?
like,
Yeah.
yeah, if I don't get the final season of The Boys, if I didn't see that, I think I'd be very upset because it is one of my favorite shows, maybe ever. Um, so yeah, I think that's quite a shock. I didn't think I was going to say that, but thinking about it, I think yeah, the Boys. If I didn't get The Boys season 5, I think that would be the one to be most sad about overall.
Okay. I can understand that for sure. I think I'm going X Men. I think I'm going X Men season two. I was so enamored with season one. I think I'd be pretty upset if I didn't get a follow up to some of those things. But Declan, thank you so much for joining me. This was such a blast as always. Is there anything you would like to shout out, promo, tell people to go check out,
Uh,
any of that jazz?
I would love to, but it'd be a waste of time. Um, I what I will say is, keep an eye on the channel. I'm hoping in this new year I'll try and get some more stuff out if I can. But I make that promise every year, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm gonna stick to it because I probably won't. I unfortunately like I just it's this this isn't my job. So it's
Of
it's one
course,
of those. It's
of course.
difficult. It's difficult to find the time. But hopefully this year I'll bring out some more stuff.
Incredible, incredible. Well, we will have his channel linked up. So you can go check out his stuff. We got some stuff around the pipeline over these next couple of weeks. We got some fun things in January, and obviously onward for we got after the credits Mondays. We got some fun shows coming out. I mean, we'll be covering most of the shows over on that. Also, the movies over here in pipeline this year. We have Wonder Man in just a couple weeks. We're doing Percy Jackson. We're doing Fallout right now. Those things are all fun and good. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye bye.